I also just wanted to share a little bit more about the Koppel family. They've been serving the Omaha and Lincoln and surrounding communities for over 50 years with great customer service and small town charm. That's always been our motto, and we absolutely will not be undersold. It truly is confident buying and confident driving. So come on in, meet the team, check us out at Koppel or at koppelcars.com. All deals with approved credit.
Hey, Husker Nation. This is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top-quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Nominations for the Step Forward Awards are now open. These awards are the state's most prestigious awards for volunteerism, and we need your help to find outstanding volunteers from your region of the state. If you know a volunteer who deserves to be honored for their service, visit serve.nebraska.gov and click Nominate Now. Nominations must be submitted by June 1st. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Put lawn irrigation on automatic. Think Judson Irrigation for worry-free service to Lincoln homeowners and business community. Judson Irrigation will turn on your sprinkler system in the spring, repair or redesign as needed, and turn it off in the fall. For service to orphan sprinklers, remember Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
At Cedars, we're here to make sure that kids have the safety and stability that every child deserves, where they're protected and where they feel safe. You make this possible. Today, more than ever, we need your support to be here for kids who have nowhere else to call home. Now through May 28th, make a big impact through Give to Lincoln. Give to Cedars now at givetolincoln.com.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln, this is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln, Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped and picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black shirts answer the call one more time.
And Austin Orman. Hour one of Old School is sponsored by Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right. Away we go on a Wednesday. A loaded show from start to finish. Leading off, of course, with the Husker Hall of Famer. He's back in full effect. Like Return of the Jedi. Insert your favorite Foremanism here. He's back, folks. What's up, partner?
Ain't nothing. Hey, same old thing. Same old soup, just reheated.
But what kind of soup we talking?
My favorite is chicken noodle soup. Chicken and dumplings. You can't have that right now.
Oh, says who? Don't let the haters stop you.
It's too hot outside.
I mean, probably, but if it tastes good, tastes good.
Yeah. But I ain't gonna lie, man.
Oh boy, here we go.
Okay.
We're
from 6 a.m. to 3 o'clock, man. Whoever was on this mic right here, okay, I'm just going to tell you, your breath is hitting, okay? You was hitting, is hitting, and was hitting. That be straight garbage.
But so full disclosure, Jay walked in, it was NFL smelling salts on him.
Yeah. You open up some nostrils over here, man. But besides that, it's all good in the hood. It's Give the Lincoln Day tomorrow. It's a big day for all the nonprofits out there. It's going to be great. And today's great. Beautiful day outside, no wind. Not as bad as normal Nebraska. It's the end of May. Essentially, it's June. So it's heavy recruiting season in football. We got softball ready to do the dang thing down in Oklahoma City. We got baseball hosting a regional. What more could you ask for right now? And it was supposed to be a sleepy time in sports, in Husker sports.
Who's got it better than us?
Nobody.
Nobody.
And we're gonna make it like that. Jordy Fromm. I won't call her Jordy Ball no more. She's gonna represent to.
She's balling though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And her husband, boy, I'm gonna tell you what. You know she tightened him up a little bit. Like, look, man, you can't be up there doing all that type of stuff. You gotta act civilized. But I like it though.
I don't care if it's provoked.
Yeah, I like it. I like for Nebraska fans to get a little spiciness to them.
Nicest fans in college sports. Yeah.
Well,
Gotta have some fire in
we
there.
ain't trying to hear. I always say, man, when Ohio State comes or like Iowa comes, all of a sudden, hey, look, man, turn the hot water off.
There you go.
Nothing wrong with that.
Paint the locker room pink.
Yeah. Turn the hot water off.
All that good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. 402-464-5685 if you want to be a part of the show. Eric, in his Eric way. My man Jay, who can't even be bothered to come in for an hour yesterday, even though he had Monday off. Foreman, hope he had a good Memorial Day.
I didn't have a Monday off. I was on the grill, Eric. I was at work all day. It actually wasn't. Monday's the payoff. Sunday is when you go to work.
Mm.
Around 85 million grad parties.
Approximately.
Approximately.
Give or take.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was man one-on-one on Monday. And then Tuesday, I was saying you and Nick Dubsack was handling your business. Talking about baseball.
Yeah.
Baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only liking baseball because Will Bolt is handling their business. I don't like baseball because they don't invest back where they should.
Is that so?
That's why I don't like baseball. Every other sport does besides baseball. Period. I'm talking about the major leagues.
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
They used to. They don't anymore. So that's why I don't like baseball. I like the sport. I don't like baseball, if you understand what I'm saying.
Well, how about this? Breaking news from Jeff Passan. MLB Players Association makes its first proposal to Major League Baseball today in collective bargaining. Top line issues include a competitive integrity tax for any team that does not spend $150 million on the roster.
Pittsburgh Pirates.
Increase the minimum salary from $780K to $1.5 million. Increase in the base competitive balance tax threshold from $244 million to $300 million.
All my young brothers out there, I know I coach you in basketball. Get out there and play some baseball.
Learn to throw fast.
Listen, if you play basketball and you're playing like summer basketball AAU, that's a racket, and so is baseball. So baseball, it seems like you can really, have a starting base salary by the time they make it, or if you did make it, or got a cup of tea, be almost $2 million. Then if you get to that point, you'd actually probably be at some sort of big time school getting some NIL money too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Go play baseball, kids.
Yeah, we can get out
especially
there.
Especially if you throw left-handed.
Throw left-handed. We'll get out here. We'll get you the little racquetball, with a stick or something. We'll get your hand-eye coordination good, and we know, we're going to be on that base path.
Base paths are more than just about speed. Let's be honest, but it goes a long way.
Yeah, but you got to
timing. It's reads.
Hey, you got to use your street sense. We'll be all right. You know what I'm saying?
You'll make it work.
We'll make it work.
2766. I have a different view about the Jordy Fromm husband debacle. Really uncool to get tossed out of a game while your wife is warming up for her last time in front of the home crowd. I think it's a bad look.
Well, if you're ever at home and you're ever in I guess eventually when they have kids and you're trying to win a battle, I think Jordy would say, listen, little Johnny, or maybe their daughter's named Jordan, right? Look at your pops here. Who are you going to listen to? I mean, yeah, it's probably not the finest hour of her husband, but hey, look, it was just all a part of being, caught. I think he did it. Obviously, he wanted them to win. I don't think he wanted to be, a distraction. And it's onward, upward. Nebraska's on to where they need to be, deserve to be, and should be.
Indeed. Thomas and Lincoln, appreciate you chiming in as well. Speaking of some breaking news, Jay, just in the last few hours or so, we have potentially some new legislation that could be passed. Could this be the one? Could this be the set that ends up saving college sports? The overview of it here from Ross Dellinger, who's been on top of all of this. How about this? One-time transfer rule, 5-year eligibility, and a ban on pro players, a hard cap, a 5% maximum agent fee, a Lane Kiffin rule, optional/voluntary pooling of television rights, and prohibiting of a super league.
Ooh.
What do you want to dive into first?
Man, Let's do I guess 5 for 5.
Okay, so
in a one-time transfer.
Yes, the 5 to play 5 is like we've talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Not officially passed in the NCAA yet, but it's on the docket for their June meeting. So it seems more than likely that that's going to end up getting passed. Just like we've been talking about, your clock would start either the date of your high school graduation or your 19th birthday, whichever is earlier. And then you have 5 seasons to compete in college. The difference then is for the international players, where there's been such a huge influx of that specifically to college basketball to where it's foreign professionals, right? Because we know that, your soccer's, your tennises, your gymnastics, your golf, sports like that, they get all these players from overseas, but they're not earning, salaries to play for a club. And so this is essentially the college basketball rule that's being talked about is if you earned anything more than bonus money from competitions, like if your team won a tournament, you got to pay out from that. If you're earning a salary overseas, you're not eligible to play American college sports
at all.
Yes.
No matter
at least right now.
Yeah.
Now, odds are good that this gets worked around a little bit because there are so many college players making more than people playing professionally overseas.
Right.
But at least at the baseline, Senator Ted Cruz and Senator Maria Cantwell and their working group are saying, hey, if you're a professional overseas, we don't want you playing college athletics here stateside.
Yeah, mainly for basketball. And
yes.
Potentially could be baseball. Yeah, I mean, I like it. I like the parameters of it. It actually looks like they've, the meetings, the meetings or the announcements that let you know that they had a meeting, they're going to have another meeting. Seemed to actually like they were actually getting some stuff done. Hey, hold on. Look at there. We got your boy, the baseball dude, man. It's not Carl Ravitch. It's the other dude. I know him.
That's Kyle Peterson.
Yeah, no, it's not Kyle Peterson. The other dude.
Well, Ravitch and Peterson are in town to call the games.
Well, that's him.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I know some baseball.
Hop on over, KP.
Yeah.
Across the street.
Yeah, he was moving and grooving. But, I think it's good. I think the hard cap is good, and we can go to that next. Now they're going to have to try to regulate it. I like that. I think that'll actually clean some stuff up as far as like LSU's supposed roster versus everybody else with these fake numbers. And people don't realize these numbers are coming out to the point they're doing it. The reason why people are in agents and universities are leaking these numbers is for a variety of reasons. One, if I'm a junior going to make my decision, and it comes down to a team that supposedly has a $53 million or $54 million roster versus somebody has a $26 million roster, I'm probably going there.
Right.
But it's fake numbers, right? And then it's also for people it's a negotiating ploy to get more money, even though you might have enough, but it's always great to have more money internally. And then also it's to point the finger at you, so you're not looking at me. Right. But I think the hard cap will help out everybody, and then you can really get down to some good old real recruiting.
Yes, and let's save the Super League for next segment because I think there's a lot to talk about.
That hurts my feelings.
Well,
that was my idea.
Yeah,
they shot it down
real quick. There's a lot that went into that, and we'll see what you think about their proposal. But in terms of the hard cap, Jay, this is aimed really at strengthening that College Sports Commission, the group that is essentially run by Deloitte, the group that Nebraska had its run-in with just a few weeks ago. So what Senators Cruz and Cantwell are saying is that it's trying to give teeth to the CSC in terms of actually legislating what deals are valid and which ones are not, so that they can't then be sued, by Nebraska, by, the Nebraska Attorney General, by Georgia, whoever else is waiting in the wings to do this. Because you think about what got Nebraska's shot down was that it was essentially not a third party, right? It was in-house with Playfly, who, exchanges services, is employed by or works for whatever. The university bought the university's rights. Essentially, that deal got denied because it was in-house and because you couldn't tell the valid business purpose is what the CSC held. There are others that, make $3 million to do one social media post. Stuff like that's going to get denied as well. And so what this new legislation is going to do is say, hey, it's not that you can't do the post. It's not that you can't pay the players. You just have to make it market value.
Yeah.
Across the board. It'll help establish some parameters for that and make it so that if you lose your arbitration case, like, of course, Nebraska's went to arbitration over these deals. The arbitrator ruled in favor of the College Sports Commission. Then it's preventing this next step. The attorneys general can't sue, the College Sports Commission on behalf of the athletes. So that's the first part of it. The second part of it is that you say, okay, well, you're taking a lot of money then out of the hopper. You're pushing down student athlete pay. And this to me is where the interesting conversation is, because both senators said something to the effect of, well, yeah, it would decrease it, but we're leaving the door open for conferences to come to the table. They can always negotiate and raise the cap. That's great in theory, because if you have a higher cap, you would think that would offset at least some level of NIL losses. But why would the conferences want to do that? What the Big Ten and the SEC will want to negotiate, and we'll get to this with the Super League later as well, is different than the Big 12, the ACC, the Pac-12, is different than the MAC and the Sun Belt and the Mountain West, so on and so forth. And then, of course, who's speaking for the athletes, right? The big conference versus little conference is one thing. And then the lack of a voice of an athlete. It's great to say it's open to renegotiate, but what good is that really going to do?
Yeah, if you're not having the major part of the negotiation that's about who's getting paid, not a seat at the table, you're actually just doing what you did before, but they're getting, they're getting paid now, and now you want to take it back. I mean, it's funny. I mean, obviously, majority of Americans like it, free market, go out there and capitalism. Well, now these athletes, young athletes, are getting paid. Now you want to go back to the old school way, and you need to, for the betterment of the game. Nobody cares about the game. That sounds good. It's like when the live guys talking about, oh, well, I want to grow the game. No, you don't. You just want to grow. You're growing your bank account,
and that's fine.
Nobody is operating for the betterment of the game.
Right.
It only became a problem because essentially you got caught stealing from the players. The players should have always gotten paid at some point. Now, you could have just said, hey, no matter if you're the Heisman winner or the 105th guy back, say, like when I played on whatever, 85th guy on scholarship or whatever it was, everybody's getting paid $5,000 a year. That would have been better, or whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
But you chose not to. And so now you want to take money away from the players, but you're going to still be adding money to your bank account
in the name of fairness.
In the name of fairness, that is the dumbest thing that you can come about. Now, if you want to have a hard cap and say you only can get paid per the sport a certain amount NIL money or whatever it is, and you only can make this much outside of say the rev share or whatever your rev share check is, okay, that's fine. And then anything that you do on your own, maybe or something like that, you can do something like that. That's fine. But you can't sit there and say, okay, we're waiting for you guys to come back and we're gonna you negotiate against yourself for a cap. It's already unlimited. Now that's probably not fair either, because there's some working with a bigger money stack than others, but in reality, it needs to stay the same, because if you just make a hard cap where it's at per player, per position, or whatever it is, then so be it, because that's the way it is in the NFL. Like, essentially you would be trying to have all the players at certain positions play either on a franchise tag, right?
Yep.
So say like they view you as the best linebacker in the Big Ten, but you're the best linebacker in Nebraska, and this is your franchise tag amount. Then the others would be under your tender amount, which is based on your production and where they feel you're at. So example would be this. So Emmett Johnson, where he was at, before Dana came, was at a tender amount. And then once he started to produce, right, and then there was other people wanting him to go to be their franchise running back in theory, then he became in that slot your franchise running back price tag.
Yeah.
Now, whatever you deem that to be under the hard cap is your choice.
Sure.
And then you go from there, and then that's how you can really, you'll be able to obviously be more efficient in your spending. You would probably not have as much donor fatigue. And that's what you really need to worry about. Where's the money coming from if you're not going to go out to private equity? Because it won't last.
No.
And so you can probably try to Band-Aid it, but it's not just a football problem. It's a baseball thing. It's a basketball. It's a volleyball. It's a track and field. You have to think about everybody else besides the major sport right now, which they're really talking about, is basketball and March Madness. It's not basketball season. It's March Madness.
Mhm.
And then I'd also push back on the whole international thing. Okay, besides Will Wade and Alabama, how many people have really, really went out and just did it like that and has like all Europeans on their team?
Illinois, Brad Underwood.
Okay, so that's 3
Tommy Lloyd, Arizona.
that have played professional
Well, I mean, in the club system, at the very least.
at the and they're
Well,
and they're
here-
24, 25 years old.
The upper 20 or lower 20s when they come to
Okay,
college.
so that's
Well,
4.
here's another one. Duke, Dame Sarr played for FC Barcelona, the senior team,
Yeah,
for a while, and they got Joaquim Boumche, son of a former Georgetown guy,
Right.
by the way, who's
Yeah.
playing for Barca's U17 team.
right. But
Or
I
U18
mean, where I'm
team at
talking
17,
about
whatever.
guys that like I'm looking at Will Wade's what he's doing, and you could put
Well, St.
Andor in
John's
there,
just signed
right?
that guy from the Euro League,
Right.
Quinn, whatever his name is.
So right now we're about 20 players.
Well, I mean, so that's where it gets tricky too,
then
because
then I would ask, oh, and it's still wait and see with LSU, right? Like
Yeah.
how good these guys are,
Yeah.
right, and how
Mhm.
good they are together.
Mhm.
Okay, are they? I mean, yes, it's affecting the moral compass of the game. That's fair, right?
Mhm.
And it's kind of tipping toeing around the gray area. So sure, the rules need to be there, but if you're telling me a kid that's playing on the 17U team that's getting a couple bucks can't come here, they don't have the same systems that we have over here.
Exactly.
You know, so I mean,
Mhm.
it's within reason. Should a 25-year-old kid or 20, not even a kid, grown man be playing college basketball as a sophomore or after they went to the G League? And
No.
you know, what's the one guy that you got? I think he might have got drafted with the
Well,
G League and came.
Multiple, yeah. James Najee,
Right.
Charles Bediako.
Those shouldn't happen.
Mhm.
That's actually should be that's the common sense factor.
Yeah.
It should never come across your desk.
Mhm.
So
Amari
that's it.
Bailey.
Right. So
Mhm.
those are easy fixes.
Mhm.
The rule needs to be set on to make sure you have a certain age limit and maybe in I really wouldn't even worry about the pay because like
Because these
the
college
Bansa-
kids
the
are
Bansa
making
made
more.
what? 6 million?
At
Probably?
least.
6 or 7,
At
8 million?
least.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's what, 18?
Yeah.
So over in Europe, a guy's making $100,000 at 19 years old. You're trying to tell me he can't come here and play college?
Because he's a professional.
Right.
Yeah, right.
You know, it's the difference. Some people call it, you know, a 2-year school in different countries, a university versus a
Mhm.
college.
Yeah.
They view it as a 2-year college, which is in our case, Southeast Community College.
Right.
Right. So,
Mhm.
and I would definitely win the argument that Southeast Community College League play is probably not up to Big Ten standards. Right. So
Not consistently.
right. I don't think ever, because if they are, they're hiding some heck of a players up there, right in Lincoln, and we need to start, you know, going down there and backing up the Brinks truck. But I think it's a good step, overall, good step. It's going to be, and this is what I need to ask you, and also our text line. What is the status of the JUCO ranks? How does that affect the guys that felt like they could go there for a couple years? Because remember, during the season from Diego and stuff, everybody thought like, oh, let's just go to JUCO for 2 or 3 years,
Mhm.
and then we'll come in as 21, 20. So it's kind of like the reverse versus
Mhm.
coming down old, we're coming in old.
Old. Yeah.
Now, is that still true, or how does that affect? Because a lot of the
TBD.
guys, well, a lot of the baseball players,
Baseball
basketball,
especially.
basketball
Mhm.
and football, those guys need to know because a lot of them have been making their decisions,
Mhm.
turning away from opportunities at, say, the Division II level or
Mhm.
Division III or whatever to go
Yeah.
to JUCO.
Yeah.
Well, now you're using up eligibility there, and then what do you do next? Because that's how you can get that lawsuit,
Mhm.
even with this new agreement, if it came true July 1st.
July 1st.
Yeah.
But that's where I think my fallback would be age limit. You know, you can go
Okay.
to JUCO, but your clock started. So
Okay.
you don't get 5 years no matter what. You get 5 years if you come in right away. But the top end age limit is still the same. With, again, the carve outs for like maybe military service, maybe, you know, missions, you know, for BYU.
Which it's
or
always
whatever.
been.
Right, which it's always been. And then on the ladies' side, there's been talk of a pregnancy exemption as well.
Which
You
is
sit out a year.
which is common
Common
sense.
sense enough.
Yeah. But I would see, so say like Austin Orman, say you are a baseball player or a football player or basketball player. So right now, as it stands, can you go to JUCO and it not count against your?
Right now, yes.
Okay, so
Come July, probably not.
so what? Okay, so what happens if you did it last year? Are you? Do you start at zero? Or
Well,
do you,
it's the Jamarcus Lawrence thing, right? next year is the cutoff. There's not a 1 year grace period. At least that's the way it's written.
So
right
it
now.
really affects the 2026 kids
big time.
Again.
Yeah.
So they got screwed over by like COVID and not being recruited in high school. And now they're getting screwed over again.
That would have been really early in their high school, though.
No, what I mean is, so by COVID, meaning it changed the way they looked at high school kids. I mean, everybody said they're not recruiting. It really came to fruition right to this year, a little bit last year, were these kids. So they get it. They got it from that. Let's say the remnants, the little crumbs from COVID. It really affected 2026 kids. Now it affects them if they decided to go to JUCO. And now they can't really get that year back to really be on the same page that they were going against guys in high school because they're being over recruited by JUCO guys, which we've seen right up there in Council Bluffs, Iowa Western, or guys that have been in college. So now they're just really stuck on, not even on stupid. Really, I mean, you talk about that might be a lawsuit.
Another one, just what they want.
It'll be like 2086. We'll be gone.
Last thing, then we'll take our first break before we get to how rude the NCAA is looking and how rude Senators Cruz and Cantwell are in tearing Jay's Super League idea down to its studs. Jay, a Lane Kiffin rule. Not going into the law as the Lane Kiffin rule, but that's how it's been discussed by these lawmakers. The Lane Kiffin rule is one that would say coaches can't leave teams before the season concludes, and teams can't hire coaches until the season concludes. Essentially, Lane wouldn't have been able to go to LSU until after the national championship.
I don't like that. Does that mean you can't fire me then too?
Well, okay, coaches can't voluntarily leave, right?
Oh,
you can fire at any point, but you can't leave a school until.
Well, yeah, you can. Well, I'll stay there. Then I'll still be going to LSU. Then Ole Miss will be on the hook for that money, then, right?
Well, that leads me to: do we need a legal tampering period for coaches then?
Yeah, because it happened anyway.
Anyways, right?
Yeah, Georgia week. Look it up. That's when the agreement was signed or was agreed to. And you know what? Doesn't even matter. When coaches go to other schools, Lincoln Riley, these things are done well in advance. You just got to ask the right question. Don't ask him if he's going to LSU.
Will he be the head coach at Oklahoma next year?
Yeah,
is what you ask. Not. So what about LSU?
I ain't going to LSU. And he sat there, waited you to ask for USC. Well, you didn't. Hey, talk to you later.
Yeah.
It's a tough loss.
Tough loss.
I'm destroyed. Woke up the next morning refreshed.
Real quick. $10+ million a year, I've been told, will do that to a person.
Yeah.
I feel a little refreshed.
It had the Air Force Ones ready for him, too.
Right color and everything. Not that different than Oklahoma, but just different enough. All right. The Super League.
Man.
Potentially dead on arrival. Jay Foreman is heartbroken. We'll see if he gets $10 million wired over to refresh him for next segment or not. If not, this is Old School brought to you by Graham Tire Company. We'll tell you more about them and plenty of other great sponsors throughout the course of the show. But the Super League, we're looking at you, Big Ten and SEC. Can't build your own sandbox. We'll be back to talk about that next.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Graham Tire presents life's greatest adventures.
Okay, buddy, here we go. Just keep your eye on the ball. All right, just swing right through it. Yeah, good job. Way to go. Hey, run it out. Okay.
Great road trips start with great service. Graham Tire, your tire store next door, with 5 convenient Lincoln locations, getting you to the places that matter most.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, and salt every fry. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
We have 2 boys, so we needed more space. We lived in a townhouse, so we decided to build.
Casey Bowman and her husband Joe built their first home with us. This is Bob Benish of Aspen Builders. Working with the Bowmans was fantastic.
After the first meeting, we really liked them as people.
I was really skeptical about the whole building process, more so than Joe was. But they explained everything before it happened. If there were problems or issues along the way, they called and explained everything. They just really helped ease my mind.
They were really good about giving us options as far as what fit in the budget, what didn't fit in the budget. They have a designer, Rachel.
She was amazing. She was very helpful in making sure that our house turned out good. I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change the lot. I wouldn't change colors. I love everything about it. Everything. It's perfect for us.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
In communities like ours, local relationships still matter. At Insight Partners, we believe we are better together. That's why insurance agencies across the Midwest have joined Insight Partners to better serve local customers and communities with all their insurance needs. From personal to commercial or specialty insurance, your local Insight Partners team is here to help protect what matters most. Insight Partners, better together. Learn more at myInspartners.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Play ball! Some places just feel like home. In Lincoln, that place is Haymarket Park. For 25 seasons, it's where we gather with friends, with family, and our out-of-towners who want that same warm welcome. It's where kids catch their first foul ball, where we're all neighbors for at least 9 innings. Because when Salt Dogs fans root for our home team, there isn't a single stranger in the stands. So come one, come all, and let your local tradition play on. Get your tickets at saltdogs.com.
Every day, kids arrive at Cedars because they have nowhere else to turn. No safe place to sleep, no stable adult to rely on. Cedars is here because this community shows up. This Give to Lincoln Day, we need your support to be here for kids who have nowhere else to call home. Giving is open through Thursday. Please give to Cedars now at givetolincoln.com.
Grandma and Grandpa, Mom and Dad, then the kids, and now the grandkids. Judson Irrigation has provided lawn sprinkler system design, installation, repair, and service to 4 generations. They're just like members of the family. Loyalty, trust, service. It's what you deserve and expect from Judson Irrigation.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mostly sunny skies. It'll be breezy and hot. In the afternoon high near 91. Tonight, partly cloudy skies and white winds, a low around 63. And tomorrow, we'll see partly sunny skies, be breezy and warm. In the afternoon high near 89. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Don't ignore changes in your skin. Get them checked. May is Skin Cancer Awareness Month, and early detection could save your life. If you've noticed a new spot, a changing mole, or anything that doesn't look quite right, now is the time to act, not later. As you head into summer, protect your skin and stay proactive about your health. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they're here to support your care with advanced technology and a team you can trust, because catching something early can make all the difference. Advanced Medical Imaging, your partner in proactive health.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It is Old School, Hour 1, brought to you by Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Big shout out to them. Really appreciate them, everything they do for us here in sponsoring Hour 1. They're based down in Hallam. They offer free estimates, full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty on everything while keeping their prices affordable. Locally and family owned with their own team of installers, you can give Heartland of Nebraska Windows a call today for more info at 402-430-3852. You can also visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Jay, I'm not going to be watching your pocket, so I won't ask you if that $10 million landed during break to refresh
It did not.
you.
I'm checking right now. I'm still waiting.
Keep refreshing.
It says it's in transit.
All right. Progress.
Checks in the mail.
Well, it will not be in the mail for the Super League. Here's what's happening here, Jay. The legislation, again proposed by Senators Ted Cruz and Maria Cantwell, says that any league that earns $1 billion in revenue per its 2025 tax returns is not allowed to merge with another conference. Guess how many college conferences there are earning $1 billion?
2?
Yep. Guess which 2 they are?
Big Ten and SEC.
Ding, ding, ding. You're a winner. That another million on top of that, whoever's wiring it over. But here's what does happen. It keeps the option open for pooling media rights.
Yeah.
So it's voluntary. It's not saying you have to do this. The quotes from the Yahoo Sports article read as this. First of all, however, as the 2 biggest revenue generators, the SEC and the Big Ten would need to participate in the pooling of rights for projected media values to work, Senator Cruz acknowledges. The other conferences must negotiate with those 2 conferences in striking an agreement that would be attractive to them to garner their inclusion. I go back to the sandbox sort of analogy.
Yeah.
You know, you can't build your own sandbox. There's nowhere else left to build. There's no materials to build it. There's no space to build it. You got this sandbox. You got to learn to play in it. Find something that works. If you were going to do the rights pooling, Ross Dellinger of Yahoo says that you would need 75% of the current 138 FBS schools. So you're talking like 100, essentially. 100 out of 138 would have to agree to pool their rights, to collectively pool them, which would come through essentially replicating the Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961, which provides professional leagues the right to evade antitrust law and collectively pool rights. It's a very narrow carve-out, essentially. So you need 75% agreement of the 138 FBS football schools to fit in this narrow window that would essentially give you the option to do what NFL, NBA, MLB have done.
Yeah. And that's not going to happen. I mean, obviously, I was only thinking 56, 60. Right. So that's less than 50%.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably a more realistic number. And I feel like the bottom half of that could be ultra competitive. I think it would help the bottom feeders like the UAB trying to get back on track and all that. You know what I'm saying? So my idea of a super league was essentially the European soccer model.
Mm-hmm.
You know who the big players are. You can regulate and deregulate yourself based on play and circumstances. But this was more or less in the Big Ten and SEC trying to go off on their own. That was never going to happen because, in my mind, the Big Ten is better top to bottom. And this is a new SEC right now.
Mm-hmm.
So and then I think actually the 2 other Power 4 conferences, I think they've started to rise. So if I'm the Big Ten, right, and I'm the big dog, you're a big dog too. Why would we want to, if you're looking at my model versus what they're thinking, we'd be actually doing more harm to ourselves. Because what do people like more than anything? Games that are ultra competitive and exciting. So I would almost bet if you take the top half of not even the top half, just the top 4 or 5 from the SEC, and then you take, obviously, I think the Big Ten is a little bit deeper versus the others, 2 Power 4, conferences, and make themselves a league along with the group of 5s and all that. That might be more exciting football.
Well, maybe more exciting, but people
not more profitable.
Probably not.
Because they would get the big TV rights.
They would. The other thing people like is playing teams close to them.
Sure.
And so that's another key provision here in this law that, again, not passed, it just proposed. It'll go to debate and all that here coming up soon. But there's a big focus on what Senators Cruz and Cantwell are calling regionalism. Senator Cantwell says regionalism promotes a lot of sports viewership. And this little caveat here would only apply if you get the media rights pool. So you get the 75% plus threshold to pool the rights for one big college football conglomerate. If you're in if you as a school are in a conference without at least 3 of your top 10 most frequently played opponents, you would be required to start series with teams in that top 10 most frequent list.
I like it. I mean, we had talked about it ourselves. We came up with I think it was 4 regions or maybe 5 that we came up with that one day. So I'm all for it. It'd bring back the Nebraska-Colorado game and all that stuff by our, regional games. And I think the rivalries would be there. I think it would help in fanfare. You get teams, that would be going up and down 80 in our case and going to different schools, to, recreate college football. And I also think that you can play some of the games that are the one-offs as well in your non-conference. So I think it would actually do, college football more just than the Super League idea that I have or what they were trying to do, because it would be, you would be spreading the media rights with some teams like that aren't as high, but you would still get your piece of the pie. Everybody knows who the teams are. And I don't even know if you really would have to you would probably maybe go back to the original majority of the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And then obviously Oregon and those guys would probably, reclaim or restart the Pac-12 again. But I think they're in a better place than they were before. And the regional kind of system would give them a little bit more backing. But, I like it that they stepped in and pumped the brakes on it and make some realistic, fair, efficient, compromising decisions. And they're not going to do that. So then we're just going to keep it the same right now.
It's a shame that it needs to get legislated into effect to make schools do this. It's something that you would have thought that for the good of the game, for the good of your fans, these schools would have done anyways, but clearly it didn't happen. So for Nebraska in the Big Ten, it does have 2 of its 10 most frequently played opponents across program history. Minnesota and Iowa are in Nebraska's top 10. And then from there, obviously it's Kansas, Iowa State, Missouri, Kansas State, Oklahoma, Colorado, Oklahoma State. And then this random outlier, Pitt.
That would be a unique game.
Would it not be?
That's what I'm saying.
I
like
Steve
that
Peterson Bowl.
I like that schedule that you have, that from the schools that you read. And then obviously we'd probably get, we have a cupcake or 2 in there.
Well, so you could stay in your conference in this, but
That's
then for one of your non-conference games, you'd have to pick one of those 8 teams,
right?
To schedule with probably home and home, and probably cycle through.
All of them I'd like to play.
Oh yeah.
And then I'd like to play Pitt too. I like that idea. But you're right. It's sad that you have to, have, obviously the government, got a lot more bigger things on their hand. You guys are binning college football. You say you want to do it for the betterment of the game and for the fans. I would ask, what have you done? What decision that you've made or let go by or let somebody else that's not probably as invested in college football that's been for the betterment of the game?
I still think adding the playoff was for the betterment of the game, but its implementation has been rocky.
Yes, it's been betterment for the game, but it's better for their pockets, which comes first. I'm talking
about.
Well,
that's fine.
Right.
People are going to profit. I'm not as mad about that, but I think the playoff, just the idea of adding a playoff to college is good.
The transfer portal, the idea was probably for the betterment of the game, but you never regulated that. So then you nullified that point. The NIL part was for the betterment of the game. It's been long overdue. You didn't regulate that. So that's null and void because you really didn't make the decision. You just said you were forced to make the decision. So really you didn't make the decision. So then on top of that, the price to go to a game to get tickets is astronomical. So that's not for the betterment of the fan.
Nope.
And then obviously with the explosion or the death of the Pac-12, and then you're adding, teams from there because they have to have a place to go. You're not doing anything for the fan experience or rivalries anyways, because you're traveling from Oregon to Rutgers at times.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that they've done besides your point that has been truly helpful for the better. And it's not good for the players. Sure, they get paid. I mean, that's great, but
there's more to it than
more to it than that. You haven't done anything. You haven't really regulated any of the rules with coaches leaving, right?
Right.
Which hurts the players because they're recruited by a coach. Now, as they say, you're supposed to come to University of Nebraska for Nebraska, but part of the University of Nebraska is whatever coach is recruiting you, and so there's no regulation with that either.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been going on as long or longer than you haven't been paying players. So all that stuff hasn't really done anything like positive for the game.
For the betterment of the game.
Right. You're
Yeah.
not. And like I said, I think college football was on the rise. Could have really took a big chunk out of the NFL when the NFL started to slack a little bit. And they just went in the opposite.
Doing some verification here. I don't think Pitt is actually in the top 10 for Nebraska, like this graphic said. They're number 29 according to Sports Reference.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure that's just a typo of a logo of some sort. The top 10 that Sports Reference has for Nebraska: Kansas, Iowa State, K-State, Missouri, Colorado, Oklahoma State. Okay, there's your big 8. Makes sense. Iowa, Minnesota, Illinois at 10. And then Baylor, Northwestern, Penn State, Texas A&M, Indiana would round out the top 15. So no Pitt, but we can still have a one-off home-and-home series.
We should ask the text line, what team that Nebraska played, I guess in non-con, throughout the history of Nebraska, would you like to see them play a home and away?
For me, it's Arkansas. I mean, they're close enough. I don't know why that's not more of a series. I know there's the baseball Dave Van Horn connection and whatnot, but I think Nebraska, Arkansas, there should be more there.
And I want to ask you, I'm just popping in my brain. Would you like the home and away to be across all sports?
I mean, I don't know why it wouldn't be.
That would. I mean, you could make it into like, a whole big deal.
Yeah. Nebraska, Arkansas week. Nebraska, Missouri week.
Yeah, Nebraska
whatever.
against Arkansas in basketball. That'd be a nice little game. You know what I mean? Nebraska, Arkansas in football. You can Nebraska, Arkansas. I'm looking at track, right? And then obviously look at softball.
Yeah.
And I'm in baseball as well. And obviously they're not on the level that we are at volleyball, but it still could be competitive.
We'll get to the text. Let's do this. Let me read one more quote. We'll go to break,
right,
and then we'll get the responses, I think, to end out the hour.
I hear you, West.
Who would you like a big week of athletic competitions against?
Yeah.
If you're doing all sports for Nebraska against all sports for this other university, who do you want? 402-464-5685. We'll get to that. I do want to read this quote finally, though, Jay. Senator Cantwell said, obviously, we're trying to make sure that nobody runs away with the eyeballs or a certain amount of revenue and hijacks the rest of the system, leaving it shortchanged, which is pretty much exactly what the Big Ten in the SEC have been doing. It's something we've complained about in the NBA, where the rivalries go. In the NFL, they're still there to a degree, but in college sports, you've lost a lot of that local fabric in a lot of ways. If you're not supporting your team, it's hard to get into some of these rivalries, even, is it easy to appreciate the backyard brawl? Not so much anymore when West Virginia and Pitt go that long without playing, right? Why did Bedlam have to get broken up? Why would Georgia and Georgia Tech not play every year? Clemson and South Carolina, just because they're in different conferences. I know that there are rivalries in every sport. I just think it seems like it's such a big piece, an integral piece of the fabric of college, that's a shame they ever went away the way they did.
You could have made the same rules and adjustments to conferences and just kept those rivalries, and it would have been great. And people, I don't think, would have batted an eye at it.
Shouldn't have.
But they just said, bump all that. The times change. Football's changed. No, it has not, because now you have people wanting that again.
Mm-hmm.
You want that Nebraska, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Colorado. The type of hate that we had or whatever for it, and respect.
But mostly hate.
Yeah. You want to beat the crap out of them all the time.
All right. So would you like to see a Nebraska versus Oklahoma in everything week? We'll talk about that and your choices on our Starter Heyman Jewelers text line when we get back to Old School.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Grandma and Grandpa, Mom and Dad, then the kids, and now the grandkids. Judson Irrigation has provided lawn sprinkler system design, installation, repair, and service to 4 generations. They're just like members of the family. Loyalty, trust, service. It's what you deserve and expect from Judson Irrigation.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Graham Tire presents life's greatest adventures.
Okay, buddy, here we go. Just keep your eye on the ball. All right, just swing right through it. Yeah, good job. Way to go. Hey, run it out. Okay.
Great road trips start with great service. Graham Tire, your tire store next door, with 5 convenient Lincoln locations, getting you to the places that matter most.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Hey, Husker Nation. This is Todd Euler, 2-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet, GMC, and Chevrolet, and GMC Truck Month is here. Absolutely huge discounts and 2.9% for 72 months. I also just wanted to share a little bit more about the Koppel family. They've been serving the Omaha and Lincoln and surrounding communities for over 50 years with great customer service and small town charm. That's always been our motto, and we absolutely will not be undersold. It truly is confident buying and confident driving. So come on in, meet the team, check us out at Koppel or at koppelcars.com. All deals with approved credit.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mostly sunny skies. It'll be breezy and hot. In the afternoon high near 91. Tonight, partly cloudy skies and light winds, a low around 63. And tomorrow, we'll see partly sunny skies, be breezy and warm. In the afternoon high near 89. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Every day, kids arrive at Cedars because they have nowhere else to turn. No safe place to sleep, no stable adult to rely on. Cedars is here because this community shows up. This Give to Lincoln Day, we need your support to be here for kids who have nowhere else to call home. Giving is open through Thursday. Please give to Cedars now at givetolincoln.com.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. Final segment, Hour 1 of Old School. Hour 1 brought to you by the good folks over at Heartland of Nebraska Window. The question, if you could pack up the Nebraska Athletic Department once every 2 years and move it to another city for every sport to face off against one college program, where would you move it to? Some responses rolling in. Mr. Mike D says LSU. My dad says LSU and Florida State. We have Derek on Facebook saying Florida State. Here's one, Jay. Miami. Westy says that, so does 0159. A lot of representation in the South so far.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, the Miami game, obviously, there's some history there. Deep history, obviously, changing the program. My man Craig says Missouri. LSU doesn't really get me too excited.
Really?
I mean, it does just because it'd be LSU. I wouldn't mind it for once, but it's not something. It's not at the top of my list. But it would be great to, go down to Baton Rouge and drink them out of all that, all their beer, and then obviously all the what is it, swamp juice that they serve too.
Justin, I think you're our Louisiana correspondent. Let us know. He also says TCU. Dallas is an easy drive. We could load up on good barbecue and Tex-Mex.
I like that too.
I applied to TCU.
You did?
I did. I knew I was going to Nebraska, but they wanted to send my ACT score. Yeah, I applied to 4 universities.
Where?
That's where I sent my ACT score, and I got letters of acceptance. See if you can guess. So it's Nebraska, TCU.
Well, if you going that, Nebraska, Northwestern?
No.
I don't know. Duke? Oh, yeah. That was a guarantee. And who else?
Wichita State.
What?
I just picked 4 random schools that were interesting at the
time.
time.
You ever been to Wichita?
Yes, I've been to and through Wichita. Again, I had no intention. I was going to Nebraska all the way. That's just where I sent my ACT score.
They recruited me in basketball.
Is that Turgeon?
I don't know who it was. I got the letters at home. But I remember they used to send me stuff, and I used to be like, there ain't no brothers down in Wichita. Number one. Because they used to send you some, articles. And then I looked up, but
another program,
They had, but they had Austin Carr, the big dog.
They did.
And then
People
they
forget.
had another guy in the NBA at that time, and I was like, maybe so. And then, UNO offered, and then went to Cincinnati, and I was like, I remember. Actually, it's funny. I officially met Nick Van Exel a couple weeks ago.
Whoa!
And
okay.
I reminded him that he was a big reason why I started football. I love football. But football became super special to me after I went down there and watched those guys play. I went down to Cincinnati. I was like, them brothers are moving a little different than me. Yeah, I was like, I could do something. My dad was like, what do you think? I was like, I could come off the bench, And then the other time as I went to watch Georgetown play in the summer leagues, I was like, yeah, even Reggie Williams. I was like, yeah, it would take me a little bit, a lot longer and some patience. And I don't know if that John Thompson or Bob Huggins had the patience for it.
Scott and Lincoln, I think it'd be really cool if every year they rotated a different team to have a special week for that opponent. Maybe one year it could be Georgia, the next year Virginia Tech, so on and so forth.
We need 2 to go home and away, but every 2 years I'd be cool with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Justin from Vickman says, please not LSU. I have no desire to go back to that dump.
Yeah, I'm not. I'd like to go. I'd do it once. I think it'd be a good road trip. It'd be pretty cool. We've seen LSU come up to Omaha.
Mhm.
LSU would do the same thing in Lincoln. So I think it'd be worth it, but I don't think it would be the top of my list.
So then what's the schedule of events? Obviously, I think everything crests with football on Saturday.
Yeah. But, it would be all year long because baseball season is different than football.
True.
So it'd be a lot of road trips down there.
Sure.
So
But I'm saying if we could just make it 1 week. Let's just say we're playing everything in May or September.
Well, I think you have volleyball on Friday night.
Volleyball Friday afternoon, basketball Friday night.
Volleyball Friday night, basketball Thursday night.
Doubleheader for basketball. Girls leading into boys.
Yeah, girls before, and
Midweek Wednesday baseball, softball.
Yep. And you would, I don't know. I would do you know what I would do? I would do softball Friday.
Ooh.
And I'd do baseball to get the party started.
Okay. Out on Monday?
Yeah. And then,
the Sunday's travel day.
And because football would be on Saturday. And then track and field, they need their own day too.
You can spread that across a couple days if you have to.
Monday and Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Get it started.
Mm-hmm.
But baseball would be all right, we're hump day and we're going to start hitting some bombs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Gymnastics, wrestling, all share the same space, obviously. You have to
wrestling needs to be
coordinate there.
Wrestling needs to be on at night too.
Oh, man. Oh, imagine.
And Mark Manning really ready to represent. He would be hyped up.
Is Coach Manning ready? Yes. Coach Manning wakes up ready to go.
Yeah. I like that. I like that idea.
A few more rolling in here. Arizona or Arizona State? Let's see. And then Scott Lincoln asking a logistics question. Would it be too much of a logistics struggle if you did 3 years home, away, neutral?
I don't think it'd be a struggle logistically because, you would obviously be on the road twice. You'd be there at their site and then wherever you go as a neutral. I think certain teams you do 3 years. I'll give you that. So say like the Miami game, you probably want to do for 3 years. Notre Dame.
Ooh, see, I would say probably Miami for 2, but I think you could do like Nebraska, Kansas for 3, Nebraska, Missouri for 3, Nebraska, Colorado for 3, potentially.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean,
Nebraska, Arkansas for 3, Nebraska, Texas for 3.
I just think the history of Miami, and you want to play on a neutral site, but I don't know if I think.
Are you going to Nashville?
I think Miami might be. You're right, might be twice, but Notre Dame would be 3.
Play in Chicago, play Minneapolis.
Definitely be 3, just because of the aura of Notre Dame and being able to go there. Then they come here, and then we play Soldier Field or whatever. That'd be great.
Kip says, we're hosting that joke of a sport league, the Savannah Bananas in Memorial Stadium. Why can't we just host our regional there instead of at Hawks? Because Hawks is a really nice college park. Let's not sell it short. Thompson Lincoln says, I want to see Nebraska, Texas, and Nebraska OU. You would say that, Thomas. You Texas homer, you dirty Longhorn, you. We'll go to break. When we get back, we'll keep the train rolling here on Old School, brought to you by the good folks at Graham Tire, proudly celebrating 75 years of serving the Midwest. Husker Hall of Famer Jay Foreman there. I'm Austin Norman. Stick with us.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Couple Chevrolet, GMC and Chevrolet, and GMC Truck Month is here. Absolutely huge discounts and 2.9% for 72 months. I also just wanted to share a little bit more about the Couple family. They've been serving the Omaha and Lincoln and surrounding communities for over 50 years with great customer service and small town charm. That's always been our motto, and we absolutely will not be undersold. It truly is confident buying and confident driving. So come on in, meet the team, check us out at Couple or at CoppleCars.com. All deals with approved credit.
Play ball! Some places just feel like home. In Lincoln, that place is Haymarket Park. For 25 seasons, it's where we gather with friends, with family, and our out-of-towners who want that same warm welcome. It's where kids catch their first foul ball, where we're all neighbors for at least 9 innings. Because when Salt Dogs fans root for our home team, there isn't a single stranger in the stands. So come one, come all, and let your local tradition play on. Get your tickets at saltdogs.com.
3, 2, 1. The drop is live. Screens freeze everywhere, except yours. You've been training for this moment. And with Aloe Fiber's zero-lag precision, you strike first. No lag, no limits, just speed. Can your internet provider do that? Stay ahead of every drop. Visit aloefiber.com/all-in.
Don't ignore changes in your skin. Get them checked. May is Skin Cancer Awareness Month, and early detection could save your life. If you've noticed a new spot, a changing mole, or anything that doesn't look quite right, now is the time to act, not later. As you head into summer, protect your skin and stay proactive about your health. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they're here to support your care with advanced technology and a team you can trust, because catching something early can make all the difference. Advanced Medical Imaging, your partner in proactive health.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mostly sunny skies. It'll be breezy and hot. In the afternoon high near 91. Tonight, partly cloudy skies and white winds, a low around 63. And tomorrow, we'll see partly sunny skies, be breezy and warm. In the afternoon high near 89. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
When something breaks, you want someone you can trust to fix it right. Empire Repair is now open in Waverly and ready to serve our community with reliable auto repair and maintenance. From routine service to bigger repairs, our team is here to keep you on the road. Stop by Empire Repair in Waverly or call 402-786-2224 to schedule your service today. Empire Repair, proud to serve Waverly.
Graham Tire presents life's greatest adventures.
Okay, take the worm, put it on the hook. Now bring your pole back and throw it forward. And just let the fish come to you.
I got a bite! It's a big one, Dad!
Great road trips start with great service. Graham Tire, your tire store next door, with 5 convenient Lincoln locations, getting you to the places that matter most.
At Cedars, we're here to make sure the kids have the safety and stability that every child deserves, where they're protected and where they feel safe. You make this possible. Today, more than ever, we need your support to be here for kids who have nowhere else to call home. Now through May 28th, make a big impact through Give to Lincoln. Give to Cedars now at givetolincoln.com.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln, this is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Woo! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black shirts answer the call one more time.
And Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln, your tire store next door with 4 Lincoln locations. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right. Welcome in hour 2 of Old School. Austin Orman, Jay Foreman with you. We'll be joined by Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. Talks Nebraska Baseball Regional coming up here at 4:30. In the meantime, you can be a part of the show, 402-464-5685. Jay, this will be a nice little bridge to talking about the Nebraska football schedule, the 4 game times that we got released at the very least. 26-33 would like Nebraska to take on Tennessee in every sport. Well, how did that go last time Nebraska tried to take on Tennessee?
Yeah. I mean, it's a little sore spot for some guys. Maybe we can get it the next time, next go around.
You have some Tennessee connections. Like to meet up with some old teammates and talk some jokes.
It'd be great as long as we win. As long as we win, we're gonna play. We gotta play until we win.
This is such a change in demeanor from Mr. Of course I want to face Iowa in the tournament. Of course I would want Creighton in my baseball regional.
Oh, I want to play Tennessee. There's no doubt about it.
Okay.
I just like to win, so I got bragging rights.
Well, yeah.
All I'm saying is we'd have to extend it. If we lost one game, we gotta keep playing.
It's best of 3. Okay, now it's best of 5
we'll
and best of 7.
Yeah.
Dang it, best of 11.
You know how it is, man. When you're playing against your dad, you're up playing to 11. Next thing you know, you're playing to 35 or 36. So yeah, I mean, no, I welcome all challenges. I think that's one of the things that that's great about college football. You shouldn't come here or anywhere and not want to play the best competition. If you're going to South Dakota State, or if you're going to, like, say, Sam Houston State, you want to play Montana or Montana State, whoever won it this year. At every level, you want to play the best, and see where you're at and see where your team's at.
Game times released for Nebraska, Jay. Non-conference, Nebraska will start the year with an 11 o'clock kick against Frank Solich U here in Lincoln. Eddie George and Bowling Green will be a 6 o'clock kickoff, both those games on FS1. And then on the Big Ten Network, a 6:15 p.m. kickoff for Nebraska and North Dakota. The other kick time that we have announced is Nebraska-Iowa on Black Friday. Game time, 11 o'clock. So 2 early games, 2 late games for Nebraska that we know of so far.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like all the games that we had last year were primetime, or maybe the year before. So, the variance in the schedule is also going to be tricky because you got to, your practice times have to correlate with when you're playing. I mean, generally, you're not going to really change your schedule week to week, but you want to make sure that you're in a really good spot to where you feel like you're not going to be practicing too early in the day and you're playing a night game, or at night and you're playing an early game. So it's going to be interesting to see, where they're at. I mean, you go early game, that first game, 11 kind of, but the excitement will be there. You generally don't like 11, kind of, at least the players don't, quote unquote, a little sleepy time, but your first game of the season, you're going to be tuned up. And the other team's going to be ready too. Ohio's a good program. They're going to come and challenge you. You get 2 night games, after that. Then you go on the road. And then after that, you gotta, wait and see and, go from there. Obviously, you got the Illinois game on Friday night, which obviously there's some history there, right? Where Nebraska at Illinois. Obviously, when Frost was here, it was earlier in the day. And then obviously we went up there in Matt Rule's first year and had the goal line stand and all that stuff.
The day my son was born.
Yeah.
Watched the game from the hospital.
That's right. And just, well, you might have to go back in the lab again.
No,
I don't want your wife
hey.
to be saying, "Hey, man, don't be putting Austin up to nothing."
No, so second one, his birthday is on Thanksgiving this year, day before Iowa. So I'm not ready. I'm not ready to be back in the lab quite yet.
Yeah, okay. I don't want.
And the kids are coming with us on a cruise, so don't put me up to anything.
Hey, I want to say good luck. Have fun.
I'm gonna need it.
Have fun and good luck. Well, if you're up there, you know what they say about seafood, man.
I am a fan of seafood, Jay.
Not just the Afro Jay Foreman has, aphrodisiac. But the one game, the one thing I like about the schedule of the game at Iowa is 11, even though it's at Iowa. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty consistent. But game times. I think the 2 night games, non-con, that didn't really do anything. It's going to be really interesting to see. For Nebraska, I would try to encourage them. Let's get to where we're making them flex. Let's get good. Let's make some noise to where, if they haven't originally had us playing at 11, they got to move us back, and obviously the other team's got to hold serve on their end as well.
Arkansas got some kickoff times today as well, and it led to a pretty scathing response from Hunter Yurachek, of course, last year's chair of the College Football Playoff Committee. How about this entire statement from Arkansas? I'm extremely concerned and displeased about the recently released kickoff times for our football program in consecutive weeks this September and the impact it will have on the well-being of our student athletes. ESPN has set our game at Utah for 9:15 p.m. Central Time on September 12th. We anticipate returning to campus at approximately 6 a.m. on Sunday the 13th, followed by an 11 a.m. home kickoff against Georgia just 6 days later. This assigned schedule will cost our student athletes nearly a full day of rest and recovery that they would otherwise have available to them. It's not simply a competitive disadvantage. It is a genuine welfare issue for the young men who represent our program and contribute greatly to the bottom line of our television partners. This type of scheduling is unacceptable and demonstrates a clear neglect for the well-being of college athletes. I am confident that there are not many other programs in the SEC that would be placed in a similar position, and I will not quietly accept it for our players. I have formally requested that the SEC office and ESPN aggressively pursue an alternative solution for one or both kickoff times during these consecutive weeks. The focus must be on the well-being of the game's participants, not the bottom line of our media partner.
Man, that was a great, that was a well-formulated email. That thing is crumbled up and in the garbage. Nobody cares.
Nebraska, so you don't like your check?
Right. And you know what? Who did you make mad to get the short end of the stick? Because you remember with Greg Sankey, you didn't get us in there? You didn't get those extra teams in there? Yeah, wait till next year. It's understandable. It's the part of this new age of college football. Utah is not a very easy place to get to, obviously from Arkansas, but it's not that bad. Now, the start time, I can understand it, right? But ultimately, it's just part of playing professional football. And yeah, you can stamp there or put the name of college on it. These guys are pros. You're highly compensated. The coach is, and so are the players. Deal with it. You got probably 10 to 15 people on your like wait staff and more than that, and recovery staff and nutrition. That's part of it. Is it ideal because you got Georgia coming down the pipe? No, it's not.
But it's not ideal if you have Vandy coming down the pipe or Mississippi State coming down the pipe.
It's not ideal for anybody right now. Nebraska's had some crazy, travel schedules as well.
Well, two of the last 3 years, Nebraska's played at 6:30, going into an 11 o'clock kick at Iowa.
Yeah, and then they went Penn State, right? And then the year before, or 2 years before, 23, they went up to Wisconsin and played a tough game up there.
Yeah,
and then had to come back and play Iowa. So, you know what? It is part of it, and I understand your point is valid. I understand. I feel for you, right? I do. I empathize with you, but I don't really care.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And part of your off-season training, a part of how you got to really be good in your meetings, in your walkthrough, and how you practice, and how you practice before you play this Utah game. You have to prepare for it. That's part of it. You're gonna have to think outside the box, and it's just the indirect negative of this new age of college football.
Yeah.
So I guess the more you say it, more maybe your influence to really get some sort of compromise, go to regions or not. If not, you are no different than anybody else. There's
Mhm.
teams. I mean, Washington had to go out and play Rutgers, and then they had to come back and they got a home game, but you got to fly all the way back and lose 3 or 4 hours,
Yeah.
and then play. I think they played a tough game the next week.
I think it was Iowa, wasn't it?
Yeah, in a physical team.
Yeah.
And like Iowa went out to the West Coast and had to handle a bit. Nebraska's done it. Not ideal, but it's just part of the business.
That's just the thing. Again, that's the Mad Men line. That's what the money is for.
Yeah.
Which doesn't, like you said, make it right. It makes it the way it is. And I don't want to punish, teams like Arkansas for scheduling a team like Utah.
Right.
That's
commendable.
something that we should continue to want. It's what we've
Right.
said we want, which is then where I think the onus goes on, College Football Playoff Committee, and where it goes on these conferences for saying, hey, you went out on a limb to schedule this game. We wouldn't normally put you in this spot, but because you did, sure, we'll make your life a little bit easier with a 2:30 or even an under the lights kickoff, even if it's on, just SEC Network, the next week, as opposed to main ESPN or main ABC or whatever it is.
But for him to think that ESPN and those guys are going to go back and do something special for you, you're crazy.
Well, no, it's not going to happen. But
well, yeah, but just
he had to say something.
He had to say it, and it actually was. And
he earned a lot of brownie points in Fayetteville.
Hey, listen, all his points are valid, and him and his coach can go out and have a nice steak and drink some wine and cackle over it. But ultimately, you're no different than anybody else. And you know what? It's no different than at some point in time. Whereas like Ohio State, they don't play a lot of Friday games, right? In teams like that, and Notre Dame gets to kind of, grandfather themselves into the college football playoffs as long as they just
can walk and chew gum, right?
Rinse and repeat. You know what? It should be more motivation to get to that point. And if you go up to Utah and beat Utah, I guarantee you that flight home won't be as long, and it will be worth it. And then if you're able to upset Georgia that following game, I don't think the travel is that much. So I think that's the way you got to look at it.
We have a few minutes left here in this segment before we get to Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. I know you were listening, or at least abreast of what was going on yesterday from 4 to 6 here in the studio.
Oh yeah,
your boys were in here.
Yeah, they
having
represented
a good time.
Full, always.
All right, I want to pick your brain on a couple things they brought up. Number one, your memories of the pit.
Oh, that place was like it was. You know what? That was where greatness came about. Now, I will tell you, as a linebacker, especially being an outside linebacker early in my career, I wasn't out. I'd only heard stories, and it was funny when you knew the guys were down in the pit and they would come out of there. It was like there was you knew a lot of bad and good things went down there, and they kind of just came out of there, and it was business as usual because Coach Osborne was up on the main field, so everybody's got to be on their best behavior. But when I switched to middle linebacker, we'd go down there sometime. And look, man, it was stinky, it was hot, it was humid, but that's where we went at it, and the defensive line. That's where you formulate the attitude. I mean, you didn't get a lot of water. There's not a lot of air circulating in there. You got to really push yourself mentally and physically down there. And there was some legendary scraps and stuff like that down there, and a lot of work with. There's a lot of great players that became great by the work in the pit and the mindset that they, learned and obviously formulated in the pit.
There's a question they asked each other. If you were the head coach, what would you do? I told them that the thing you suggested the last couple of weeks was freshmen, sophomores, new guys get a locker room in South Stadium. Got to make the walk over to North Stadium. Would that be your first change as soon as you walk in the door?
Oh, I mean, if they could have the pit again, especially with us wanting to put an emphasis on the offense and defensive line, and you had the right people down there with the mentality of it. Oh, that'd be right along with the guys or anybody earning their way into the varsity locker room. Because I think, I think kids right now, I think people think that they don't want to be coached hard. I think they do. They like it. They yearn for it. Now you got to work a little bit harder at it, and you got to kind of know the kid more, but you definitely all want to be coached hard because they want direction. But I also think, the days of having like a pecking order, especially from an adult, and you'd have to, right now you have to hold these kids' hands to kind of get them into the leadership mode. Right. And so that's one way where you will have a pecking order and a goal to go. You're still all in the same team, and you just got to earn your way in there to the big, and you got to keep it. No different if you have your black shirt and you don't play well or haven't been playing well. It's definitely not impulsive, but you definitely are probably led up to the point to potentially going down to. In my case was like I never lost my black shirt, but I've seen guys go down to with the yellow jerseys, and but then you can earn your way back up too.
All right, 5 teammates you would put on the 2026 Huskers. You and 5. Your entire Nebraska career.
Yeah. Oh, I put myself on there.
Yep, you're included. So bring 5 with you.
Oh, 5 with me. Definitely, Jason and Grant. That's 2. Mike Brown.
He came up for both of them yesterday
Mike
as well.
Brown.
Why Mike Brown?
Mike Brown was like a silent assassin, but he's the most dependable player. He's the best football player I ever played with.
Wow.
And my description of a football player: extremely accountable, knew the game, loved the game, made plays, and pushed you to be better. Now, granted, I play with Bruce and all those guys, and obviously Mike, he's the best. But I mean, I'm just talking about the guy that if we were roommates, we're watching football. He's like, that's my dude. That's what that's what we like, football. That's what we would be watching all weekend. And he was a heck of a player, tough, physical, trustworthy. I mean, he's just part of the team that we were on. But he was great. He was a great player. Great dude, too. Even though he goes missing in action too much, he's a great dude. Hey, you text Mike on January 1st, you might not get a text back, man, until like September 1st. And it's not even personal. He's coaching. He's all about his family and stuff. So, and that's just Mike, But so Tommy, for sure.
So you're down to one more.
Yeah, I
Jason,
know.
Grant, Mike Brown, Tommy Frazier, I assume.
Yeah, Tommy Frazier. On this team here,
the 2026 Huskers. And again, we know you're going to leave out a lot of guys that you don't want to, but you're limited to 5 for a reason.
Not an offensive lineman that I wouldn't want that over especially my first 2 years. I'll say this, probably offensive line wise, so they'd have some swag. I guess I would probably say Zach Wiegert, but the player that I would want on this team is Lawrence Phillips, because they had never seen anything like it before. They what they think is good and what these fans right now think is good, you have no idea how good that dude was. So just to obviously see that. And Lawrence was tough too, and he was a gamer, and he was a guy that was dependable. So all those guys.
All right, last thing then before we get to Evan, gonna play the Frost clip. I got to do it. Right. Want your reaction to it. Here was Grant Ristrom asking Jason Peter about this, and here's Jason Peter's response from yesterday.
I didn't hear this. I'm interested.
During In the Pit.
You are a lightning rod for a lot of conversation. You're very polarizing. I appreciate and love you for that. And so Melissa had a question, wanted some clarification on things here. She said, based on the information that I have given my wife, Melissa, about our time playing with Scott Frost, she can't understand how you became such a supporter of his, and she wants to know what made you change your opinion of him.
He's been in my foxhole before, and I don't even like him, okay? But he's been in my foxhole. He helped us win a national championship, something that we came back for our senior year. He obviously was our quarterback, and
we wouldn't have done it without him.
We would not have done it without him.
Yeah, I mean, there's no lie told. I mean, that's 100% factual. I would say, I'll tell you this, Scott, as a competitor, I've said it. For him, from his first year to second year, the defense got better, but in order for us to win a national championship and for the offense to hold their end of the bargain up, because we were a defense-led team in that 97, is that he played a lot better. He was a better player. Better leader, obviously you're the quarterback. He had to, he was probably more accustomed to the pressure. So he raised his level of play. We won a national championship. And so, look, I always say this, man. Look, there's guys that I played with throughout my career at Nebraska. I wouldn't say I hate them. I don't like them. But I'm telling you, if their car was broke down right there, and I was driving by and I knew it was them, I would stop, either fix their car or get them to the place and help them. No doubt about it. Now, I wouldn't talk to them afterwards, but that's the type of team we have. Scott's the same way. And so, yeah, we won a lot together, and we made history together. So when he came back, I always said this. I said two things. The only person that's going to stop Scott from being a great coach here at Nebraska is Scott. That's number one. And then number two, Jason said the same thing. He's just saying it different, and I'll say it my way. Is that everybody's hopeful?
Yeah.
Right. Look, he was a young kid or a young man in college. Came here. He was married. And I think he at least had one or two kids by the time he got here. He had success. So you just assume there's no way that he hadn't matured. And in a lot of ways he has, but it just didn't work out. Now I will tell you the biggest mistake he did was the way that he kind of, stiff-armed some of his teammates when he left.
Mm.
Period. The guys that went and put their reputation, and you heard it from Grant's wife Grant asking.
Mm-hmm.
That's the type of stuff, because everybody's judging you. They don't see the day-to-day that you're in there, right? They just see you're there, your connection, you're to blame.
Mm-hmm. Which is where I appreciate Jason's foxhole comment.
Right. But everybody doesn't have access to Jason or
Right.
have the ability to listen to it. But they also don't understand that sometimes sometimes you can be judged by your company, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, your company ain't here. So who are they judging?
You.
Right. And
Yeah.
really, when Jason was helping out, and I was down there for a year, and is that there's no connection really with the head coach. You're doing it for the betterment of Nebraska, with the assumption that they're going to let you do what you came to do, what didn't happen. But then also he's going to support you as you're supporting him blindly.
Yeah.
For the betterment of Nebraska.
All right. Starter Heyman Jewelers text line. There's something for you to chew on. Got a couple things on that we'll get back to coming up at 4:45. But for now, Evan Blandy of the Omaha World Herald joins us next.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, Husker Nation. This is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top-quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
3, 2, 1. The drop is live. Screens freeze everywhere, except yours. You've been training for this moment. And with Aloe Fiber's zero-lag precision, you strike first. No lag, no limits, just speed. Can your internet provider do that? Stay ahead of every drop. Visit aloefiber.com/all-in.
Play ball! Some places just feel like home. In Lincoln, that place is Haymarket Park. For 25 seasons, it's where we gather with friends, with family, and our out-of-towners who want that same warm welcome. It's where kids catch their first foul ball, where we're all neighbors for at least 9 innings. Because when Salt Dogs fans root for our home team, there isn't a single stranger in the stands. So come one, come all, and let your local tradition play on. Get your tickets at saltdogs.com.
Rick Heyman here from Starter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Starter Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at starterheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
This is Jordy Ball for Anderson Ford. For years, Anderson has relied on an exceptional customer experience. But just this once, they're going to rely on a really great pitch.
Right now, lease a 2026 Ford F-150 for $199 per month for 36 months.
Experience better at Anderson Ford.
Stock number 1008721. Previous service loaner, $199 per month. Lease for 36 months with approved credit. 7,500 miles per year. 10650 to assignee. No security deposit required. Tax, title, and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Must take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 7626.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Couple Chevrolet GMC and Chevrolet, and GMC Truck Month is here. Absolutely huge discounts and 2.9% for 72 months. I also just wanted to share a little bit more about the Couple family. They've been serving the Omaha and Lincoln and surrounding communities for over 50 years with great customer service and small town charm. That's always been our motto, and we absolutely will not be undersold. It truly is confident buying and confident driving. So come on in, meet the team, check us out at Couple or at CoppleCars.com. All deals with approved credit.
At Cedars, we're here to make sure that kids have the safety and stability that every child deserves, where they're protected and where they feel safe. You make this possible. Today, more than ever, we need your support to be here for kids who have nowhere else to call home. Now through May 28th, make a big impact through Give to Lincoln. Give to Cedars now at givetolincoln.com.
Graham Tire presents life's greatest adventures.
Okay, take the worm, put it on the hook. Now bring your pole back and throw it forward. And just let the fish come to you.
I got a bite! It's a big one, Dad!
Great road trips start with great service. Graham Tire, your tire store next door, with 5 convenient Lincoln locations, getting you to the places that matter most.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket.
That's right. Welcome back in to Old School. Austin Orman, Jay Foreman with you here. We're headed to our Aloe Fiber VIP line, on which we are joined by Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. Evan, appreciate you hopping back on here after a week off last week with Nick Sainer and myself over at State Baseball. How the last couple of weeks treated you?
It's been great, man. Big Ten tournament, and softball's making its run. Weather's warming up. Absolutely no complaints here.
Short run for Nebraska, the Big Ten tournament. Let's hit on that really quick. What went wrong for Nebraska in failing to three-peat? How dare they?
Yeah, maybe it was the format that didn't agree with them. No, I don't know. I thought they won the game they needed to win against Michigan on Friday into Saturday morning. And I think that's the one that you really needed to lock down to feel good about being that regional host. And Michigan was a bubble team for the NCAA tournament, didn't end up making it, but that was important. And then I just thought on Saturday, like Oregon just showed why it played its way up to a number 11 national seed. Like I think a week earlier, Oregon's probably going on the road as a regional 2, and they just were extremely impressive. They were hitting home runs out of Schwab Field, and certainly did that against Nebraska. And Will Sanford was spinning fastballs that Nebraska just couldn't hit. So I think it was a game where you tip your hat to the other side and say that this is a program on the rise, not just this year, but into the future. And, ultimately Nebraska shut out for the first time this season. And
wow,
maybe that's something that kind of sticks in the craw of the Huskers a little bit and provides a little bit of extra motivation now with a chance at redemption this coming weekend.
Couple things on that game. I think for the first time, it felt like Nebraska got Will Walshed by Will Sanford as opposed to having, its own version of Will Walsh step up. But you mentioned that interesting connection there with Oregon, jumping all the way up to the number 11 overall national seed. Looking at the way the hosting situation fell out, of course, with UCLA, walk-off Big Ten champs, didn't have it easy in Omaha, but still found a way to win the Big Ten tournament. They're the number 1 overall. But with Oregon and Nebraska being a pair of Big Ten hosts as well, do you think if Nebraska beats Oregon, then maybe those two teams are flip-flopped and Nebraska gets the 11? Or what do you think a win over Oregon, could have done for Nebraska's spot in the pecking order?
Yeah, it's an interesting hypothetical. Like if they had beaten Oregon, crack at UCLA, and who knows how that would have gone, even a loss to the Bruins on a neutral site would have maybe actually helped their RPI a little bit more. So yeah, you could see a scenario where they could have moved up a couple lines. The selection committee chair said in his kind of group media session after the selection show that I think it was seeds 6 through like 14 were considered for status. And so that would include Nebraska and Oregon. And so I think it just kind of tells you, once you get beyond those top 3 or 4 teams, UCLA, Georgia, Georgia Tech, Auburn, then it really flattens out. And there are just a lot of schools with similar resumes, similar star power, similar momentum going into the postseason. So yeah, I think it's just a reminder that certainly your body of work sets you up for the selection show, the overall body of work. But I think there's still something to be said for finishing hot, making a statement late, because ultimately these are humans making this decision at the end, and sometimes making that impact statement or having that big game against a name opponent can be that difference in moving you up a couple lines. I think Oregon was probably a beneficiary of that, and Nebraska may have been if that result went the other way.
Gotten a chance to hear from Will Bolton, maybe some players over the course of the last few days since this has been announced. And hearing from Will Bolton, Nebraska, Evan, what does it mean to the program and the guys inside that locker room to be hosting for the first time in not quite 20 years?
It's a cool deal. There's no doubt. And I think it starts with the fact that these are guys who articulate that goal every year. I mean, there have been years when Nebraska baseball hasn't sniffed the NCAA tournament, and that's still something that they talk about before the season. Hey, we want to host a regional. We want to be a top 5%er in college baseball, 16 out of 300 or so programs that do it. And so they finally made good on that. And so in that sense, because it's been on the mind for years and sort of baked into their annual goals, in that sense, it doesn't feel like they're too far out in front of their skis. But I think in the other sense too, it's the culmination of, in a lot of these guys' case, many years of hard work and 2022, this was a program that didn't make the Big Ten tournament, and now here they are hosting. And so it feels like a weekend. I think Will Bolt used the word a couple times, and to me it's apt, is showcase. This is a showcase weekend. And of course, these are big games, and you want to get to a super and advance out a regional weekend for the first time in 21 years. There are going to be big moments, but I kind of feel like just this accomplishment in a time when Nebraska is not fully scholarshiped even yet, and they're going to be, but they're beating out teams that were and have that geographical advantage. It's a big deal for the program. And you think about how far media coverage has come since 2008. I don't even know that those 08 games were all on TV. This is going to get ESPN treatment. This is going to, open some eyes nationally, I think, in a somewhat similar way to what men's basketball did, going down to Oklahoma City and really getting people's attention with the crowds. So it's going to be a really, I think, fun atmosphere this weekend. The place is going to be packed. You're not going to see any green on the berms. Fans are going to get loud in ways that we saw against USC and Iowa, especially late in the year. So I think it's one of those moments you kind of stick a pin in and you refer back to it later and you say, hey, if in a couple of years Nebraska baseball has really taken off and made this more consistent, this is one of those moments maybe that proved to be a turning point that showed recruits and other people nationally just what Nebraska baseball can be when it's rolling.
That's a great way to take this, Evan. And I was going to go there eventually, but let's hit it while we're there. First time in 21 years, right, for Nebraska to have, a chance to host and make it out of, regionals. It feels like a historic season in a lot of ways because it's been so long since it's happened. You mentioned the men's basketball, comparison, if you will. And, it was a special season, a dream season. But obviously the goal isn't to just have one season, not have a window, capitalize on it, and then move on, and we'll see again in 18 years, right? You're not going to win an NCAA tournament game for the first time ever again now for basketball. But, like basketball and for baseball, how does Nebraska baseball make sure that this historic season becomes, the kickstart of a run and not one that we have to look back to and say, oh, this was historic because it was the only time, in the next 18 years?
Yeah, I think there are some parallels probably to the basketball conversation where after that run ended in Houston, a lot of the talk was, okay, how is the university going to source or resource the programs so you can go out in the portal and bring in guys that you want to bring in and you back up You make the coaches' salaries competitive and make sure the facilities are top notch, which they have been on the basketball side. I think it's a similar conversation for baseball, and we've already seen some of that push begin when you talk about the, whatever it is, $5 million clubhouse renovation that's coming. And you talk about how this is a team right now that's scholarshiping, I think, a little less than half of its roster. And in a couple of years is going to be close to or at the full scholarship limit. So, like, I think you're already heading in that direction somewhat. You look at the recruiting class that they're bringing in. There are some major junior college names that have beaten out good programs for even a couple months. And again, now you get to a chance beyond the ESPN platform, a couple games, probably two or one of the big channels, and open some eyes to other parts of the state. You know, back to like even Will Bolt back in the day as a kid out of Houston, like he didn't own a baseball team way back when. And so like this is part of the perception that they continue to fight and just to show that like there is a ton of support up here. You don't have to go to the SEC to get 6,000 people to come out and see you play every single day. So it's just I think a major opportunity in that way. Clearly they're building internally when you talk about some of the younger players that they have that are coming back. A lot of good development stories this year, which can attract talent as well. But I think something else Will Bold often says is recruiting is the lifeblood of any program. And I mean, what an advertisement they're putting out there this weekend to show players what can happen when they come to Nebraska.
We're talking with Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald, all things Nebraska baseball regional. And just like Nebraska softball got Evan, Nebraska baseball gets the A-team in a lot of ways for the ESPN production crew. Carl Ravitch on the call and Kyle Peterson, who's obviously a local guy, pretty well known in Nebraska baseball circles. What kind of a showcase is even that? Is that just a testament to Nebraska and the environment they expect in Lincoln? How much of it is due to the strength of the Lincoln Regional and the other teams that will show up?
Yeah, I think some of it's certainly the strength of the regional. Some of it is just I think the atmosphere that it's going to be. You know, I've seen different like rankings on what are the best atmospheres this weekend. You put probably Kansas on that list. Mississippi State would be on that list. But I mean, Nebraska to me is certainly in the top 4 and maybe number 1 or 2, just because it's this fan base that's been thirsting for this for so long. It has been 18 years. The games are going to be with a lot of brand names that are here. And I mean, it's not just Nebraska and South Dakota State. Like you look on the other side too. And I believe Arizona State and Ole Miss, that's the only first day all ranked matchup in the entire NCAA tournament. So like these are two other programs that are having good seasons now that have had history. I mean, obviously Arizona State is an historic college baseball brand, and Ole Miss won the College World Series title 4 years ago. So like these are programs that have high expectations that plan on hosting or trying to host most years. And so you're going to see good games. You're going to see star power. I think a lot of the aces for Nebraska and Ole Miss and Arizona State, to me, have the chance to be major league pitchers within 2 to 3 years. You've got some dynamic hitters as well. You know, ASU and Ole Miss are both 100 home run offenses at this point. So it should be an entertaining brand of baseball as well. And you know, even like Nebraska is the one, like it feels like a regional that's pretty wide open, and whoever does emerge from it, it's going to be, you know, well earned and a big deal. And I know the crowds are going to be exciting. I think it's going to be a fun weekend all the way around, just because of all these different elements kind of coming together.
Nebraska gets to host, unlike the 2021 team that went on the road to Fayetteville. That team, Evan, maybe got a bit of a raw deal. Did this Nebraska team get a raw deal in terms of the teams that got brought in, or do you think it was a draw commensurate with Nebraska's seeding position number 13 nationally?
Yeah, I mean, I think all regionals are hard at this point. Like if you're not a top 8 national seed, like this is just kind of what you should expect. Like, you know, is Arizona a tough 3? Yeah, they are. Like they were a fringe 2. They could have been a 2 seed somewhere. You know, Ole Miss was maybe a couple wins in the SEC tournament away from hosting itself. But like that's how this thing is seeded now too, I think is important to note. is now they do see that to the top 32. It's not just the top 16 hosts and then you kind of fill it out geographically or whatever. It is those top 32. And so it makes sense that if you're just inside that hosting cutoff like Nebraska is, that you'd face somebody just on the outside of that. In this case, the Rebels. And, Arizona State, like, it's still a team with an RPI outside of 40 and that finished, I think, tied for third in the Big 12. And outside of its ace, Cade Carlone has maybe not a ton of pitching depth. So you can certainly map out ways to beat the Sun Devils. And then, the other kind of interesting piece is that as tough as the regional is, statistically, South Dakota State's probably the 4 seed that you'll see in the NCAA field, right? Like they were the 4 seed in the Summit League and got hot over the course of a weekend. So, it's tough. Of course, you got to win those games, but I don't think this is like a Northeastern as a 4 or some of the other 4s that you're seeing in a regional. So it's an interesting dynamic, but I don't think it's too hard. I think it's just the nature of competition and how things fell together. And I'm sure if you ask Nebraska coaches and players, they feel like they have as good a chance to emerge from this thing as anybody.
We'll ask the 2 questions here one at a time. Let's say that Nebraska falls in its regional. 0-2 seems highly unlikely, but of course on the table. But if it's a 1-2 showing, a 2-2 showing, whatever it is, Nebraska doesn't move on to face presumptively Auburn in the Supers. What do you think will have went wrong for Nebraska over the next few days, Evan?
I think it would probably be the bullpen not rising to the occasion. Offensively, it's had its moments where it's struggled, but really not at home. Like when they've been at home, the offense has done a good job of grinding down opposing pitchers, getting into the bullpen, threatening in most of their innings or a good number of them. I do think the one area that they have struggled has been once the starter is out of the game, if it's the 6th or the 7th inning, who do you feel good about? I mean, I think they've shown that they're comfortable going to Jay Sean Unger in the 8th for a 2-inning save. If you need to do that, he's been pretty good the majority of this year. But that 6th and 7th inning, they call that the 4th quarter in their dugout. Like, is that Colin Novacek? Is that Tucker Timmerman? Is that Price Bender? Is that Jalen Worthley? Like, there have been guys who have had their moments and who have struggled at other times to throw strikes. And so I think if they fall short, it'll probably be because some of these powerful offenses, Ole Miss and especially Arizona State, maybe they're cracking the long ball. Maybe they're, working walks and having a big inning. But I think that's probably the area that you would have liked to have seen Nebraska maybe establish things a little bit more in the last month is what's the bullpen pecking order and what's that circle of trust look like? Who's inside that trust tree? And, they're going to need some guys to step up and who have done it at times, but I don't think there's maybe the comfort level that you'd like to have as a top seed with who you're going to in your bullpen in a tight spot.
The flip side of that then, Evan, is what does Nebraska do better than the other 3 teams in its regional, and can that be enough to carry Nebraska through to Supers for, as you noted, the first time in over 2 decades?
I mean, defensively, they're the best team in the region by quite a margin. I think they're probably the most balanced team in the group. Like you can look at Arizona State and Ole Miss and see some pretty clear strengths. Ole Miss, I think, has the pitching depth of a national title contender. Like their rotation and bullpen is really good. And their offense is just kind of so-so, and their defense is decent, but not great. Arizona State's got the one ace who presumably is going to throw Friday. And they have 4 outstanding bats. Landon Hairston is going to be probably a first or second round pick a year from now. He's just a sophomore, really toolsy outfielder with 20 plus home runs. But maybe they don't have the lineup depth or the versatility in scoring. I think that's probably the other thing you look at is a lot's made of the power that those other 2 teams have, but I don't think they are maybe as comfortable executing a hit and run or a sacrifice bunt or maybe a steal in a clutch spot where Nebraska has shown that it can win in a lot of different ways. So I think that's probably where I would start, is just the versatility of the offense, the balance of the team overall. Maybe not super elite in any area outside of defense, but again, you get into the postseason, and it's hard to look at Nebraska and say, hey, we're going to take this one thing away from them. I think that balance is something that could serve them well this weekend.
There you have it. Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald, covering both regionables and regionals for the World Herald. Omaha.com. Check out his work there and on Twitter. Evan, as always, appreciate your time. I'm out next week, so hopefully we are chatting in a couple weeks about a potential Nebraska baseball super regional appearance coming off of that potentially. Appreciate your time. As always, enjoy your time with Ballpark this weekend.
Thanks, Austin. Yep, see ya.
Evan joined us on our Allo Fiber VIP line. Allo Fiber is where they understand the importance of both exceptional service and local heart. We'll be back to wrap up hour 2 of the show. A couple guests on the way in hour 3. Lori Wellman of Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach, as well as Dr. Finn of Advanced Medical Imaging. That all comes your way at 5. Stick with us here on Old School, brought to you by Graham Tire.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Graham Tire presents life's greatest adventures.
Okay, take the worm, put it on the hook. Now bring your pole back and throw it forward. And just let the fish come to you.
I got a bite! It's a big one, Dad!
Great road trips start with great service. Graham Tire, your tire store next door, with 5 convenient Lincoln locations, getting you to the places that matter most.
This is Jordy Ball for Anderson Ford. For years, Anderson has relied on an exceptional customer experience. But just this once, they're going to rely on a really great pitch.
Right now, lease a 2026 Ford F-150 for $199 per month for 36 months.
Experience better at Anderson Ford.
Stock number 1008721. Previous service loaner. $199 per month. Lease for 36 months with approved credit. 7,500 miles per year. 10650 to assignee. No security deposit required. Tax, title, and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Must take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 7626.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Couple Chevrolet, GMC, and Chevrolet. And GMC Truck Month is here. Absolutely huge discounts and 2.9% for 72 months. I also just wanted to share a little bit more about the Koppel family. They've been serving the Omaha and Lincoln and surrounding communities for over 50 years with great customer service and small town charm. That's always been our motto, and we absolutely will not be undersold. It truly is confident buying and confident driving. So come on in, meet the team, check us out at Koppel or at koppelcars.com. All deals with approved credit.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at SartorHeyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
3, 2, 1. The drop is live. Screens freeze everywhere, except yours. You've been training for this moment. And with Allo Fiber's zero-lag precision, you strike first. No lag, no limits, just speed. Can your internet provider do that? Stay ahead of every drop. Visit allofiber.com/all-in.
Every day, kids arrive at Cedars because they have nowhere else to turn. No safe place to sleep, no stable adult to rely on. Cedars is here because this community shows up. This Give to Lincoln Day, we need your support to be here for kids who have nowhere else to call home. Giving is open through Thursday. Please give to Cedars now at givetolincoln.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Back Nine Golf in South Lincoln is the premier indoor golf experience in the state. Back Nine Golf is open to the public with 24/7 access for their members. Whether it's a range session to get accurate club distances, 18 holes with some buddies, or a one-on-one lesson with Back Nine's PGA teaching professional, their top-of-the-line full-swing simulators are there to help you lower your score in perfect conditions. Learn about Back Nine's variety of memberships today and see the facility for yourself at 7501 South 15th Street in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Back Nine Golf, the premier indoor golf experience.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket.
Short segment wrapping up hour 2 of Old School. Don't want to keep our guest, Lori Wellman of Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach, waiting too long, and have some good stuff with her coming up right at 5. So, Jay Foreman, let's hop right to our Sartor Heyman Jewelers text line. First from Husker Stu. Jay, do you believe there is a kid nowadays who could handle the pit?
Yeah. I mean, well, I don't know anybody offhand. I don't know the kids well enough. I think that they would adapt. I think
adapt or die / get cut.
Yeah, I think they would adapt.
Mm.
There's some. There's. I think these guys just said, it's not, hasn't came out of them yet. They could handle it.
Eric,
eventually.
Sure. Eric actually chimes into something that isn't making fun of one of us, so we have to make sure we get this text on air. Historic moment. Eric says, I was at the 49ers versus Bears game where Mike Brown had an interception to send it into overtime and won in overtime to ice the game. He was an awesome player.
Yeah. I mean, he was Johnny on the spot, man. I always say, man, he definitely had a rabbit's foot in like his football pants, man. I mean, every tip ball, every big play, interception, forced fumble, he was really good. But I think it was just a testament to his film study, preparation, and obviously his love for football.
If I were a bad co-host, I would ask you to rank Mike Minner, Mike Brown, and Mike Rucker as players. But since I'm not a bad co-host, I won't ask you to do that. You played with 3 pretty incredible Mikes.
Yeah, they did. I mean, Mike Minner was a little bit older than me. But it was great to play with him, kind of, looked out for me a little bit. And then I was an elder statesman, and Mike Brown came in as a young guy, and then me and Ruck came up together and kind of went through the highs and lows of being a young player and finally getting on the field and making something happen. All of them were great players, all of them great pros, and all had to wait their turn, and at least I can speak for me and Mike Rucker. We took a couple of L's at times. Mike Minner, I'm sure he did it. I mean, I know he played as a freshman, so and then Mike Brown. We all got a couple of times.
It happens in football, right?
Yeah, but it was tough, man. There's plenty of walks back to Abel. Now, we were walking. We didn't have any scooters, and we weren't getting any rides. When you were a freshman, it was known. Don't ask an older player for a ride. You walk. Where you were contemplating, how can we get home? Because we were, it's a humbling experience, and that's what a lot of these other guys, no matter what, have to go through. Grant Wistrom, me and him played in an all high school all-star game together. Stayed together in the dorms. He was the equivalent of no way you can lose 5-star recruit. He had to be down in the freshman locker room until he was playing on varsity, and he didn't start as a freshman.
Right.
He played.
Mm-hmm.
So if he can go through it, and he ended up being, I think, the number 6 pick in the draft, Jason had to go through it as well, and he was number 14, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, then everybody else can go through it. Because these two guys, and especially Grant, was the defensive player of the year in USA Today. And I'm sure Jason was ranked up there as well. If they can do it, everybody else can do it. And they all survived and had great careers, in college and the pros.
Jay Foreman, drop the knowledge, people. Pay attention.
It won't hurt
if you haven't by now.
It just stings a little bit. It won't hurt you, though.
Well, it might hurt, but you'll get over it.
Yeah.
Whether it hurts or stings or whatever.
Yeah, it's just temporary.
From a man who's been through it.
Little snake bite, you'll be all right.
All right. Let's go to break. When we get back, Lori Wellman, Director of Development for Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach, where Old School will be tomorrow for Give to Lincoln Day. We'll bring Lori in, chat with her to lead off Hour 3 of Old School after this on The Ticket.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Every day, kids arrive at Cedars because they have nowhere else to turn. No safe place to sleep, no stable adult to rely on. Cedars is here because this community shows up. This Give to Lincoln Day, we need your support to be here for kids who have nowhere else to call home. Giving is open through Thursday. Please give to Cedars now at givetolincoln.com.
Don't ignore changes in your skin. Get them checked. May is Skin Cancer Awareness Month, and early detection could save your life. If you've noticed a new spot, a changing mole, or anything that doesn't look quite right, now is the time to act, not later. As you head into summer, protect your skin and stay proactive about your health. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they're here to support your care with advanced technology and a team you can trust, because catching something early can make all the difference. Advanced Medical Imaging, your partner in proactive health.
Play ball!
Some places just feel like home. In Lincoln, that place is Haymarket Park. For 25 seasons, it's where we gather with friends, with family, and our out-of-towners who want that same warm welcome. It's where kids catch their first foul ball, where we're all neighbors for at least 9 innings. Because when Salt Dogs fans root for our home team, there isn't a single stranger in the stands. So come one, come all, and let your local tradition play on. Get your tickets at saltdogs.com.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at gainatrucking.com.
This is Jordy Ball for Anderson Ford. For years, Anderson has relied on an exceptional customer experience. But just this once, they're going to rely on a really great pitch.
Right now, lease a 2026 Ford F-150 for $199 per month for 36 months.
Experience better at Anderson Ford.
Stock number 1008721. Previous service loaner. $199 per month. Lease for 36 months with approved credit. 7,500 miles per year. 10650 to assignee. No security deposit required. Tax, title, and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Must take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 7626.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln. This is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked up by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score. Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black shirts answer the call one more time.
And Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln. Your tire store next door with 4 Lincoln locations. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right. Welcome in Hour 3 of Old School. Austin Orman and Jay Foreman with you. Start of the show in the middle, though. is Lori Wellman.
Oh, you.
From Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach. Schenectady, New York's very finest. How's it going, Lori?
Well, thanks for having me.
Of course. We are excited to once again be out at Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach for Give to Lincoln Day coming up tomorrow. I know you've been in a couple times here on the station. I'll try to come up with some stuff that other people haven't asked you. Get us all geared up for Give to Lincoln Day tomorrow. I guess walk us through the last year for Matt Talbot since we last saw you guys. What's it been like?
The last year has been really busy. I know everyone, sometimes you hear about things that happen on the news and you're not sure how it actually impacts individuals. So I can tell you that when you heard about the SNAP benefit issues in the fall, people who maybe were worried about not having them, the panic that we saw in some of our neighbors in need, we saw a 500% increase
500
in a 2-week period to come to our choice pantry. There was just a lot of panic. We actually had to, our executive director pulled our leadership team together and said, okay, how are we going to tackle this? What are some different things that we can do to adjust to this need? And it just sort of feels like there's no point at which people in our community should be worried about where their food is coming from. Now, obviously, that issue is not the same anymore. But there are still people who are no longer eligible for those benefits and who are still worried about where their next meals are coming from. And that's why we're there.
What were some of those steps you guys had to take in that crazy time?
So, for example, people who are already enrolled in some of our programs, and it's not just hunger relief, it might be outreach or housing or substance use programs. People who are already enrolled were eligible to get a coupon for $50 worth of groceries instead of coming and getting those groceries from us. So it was taking some of the pressure off of our pantry for people who had never come to us before, but heard that we were a resource. And so there were just things like that we really had to do on the fly and say, hey, what else can we do? We have contacts at Whole Foods, for example, who they give us a lot of food that can no longer be sold, but hasn't expired. And so we say, okay, let's reach out to our contacts. Let's see what we can do to improvise. We had bagged lunches so that when we ran out of the main meal, there was always extra back there. No one is going to leave without having the food that they need for them and their family.
Jay and I know we remember this from last year, but I'm sure there are people out there who might be hearing about this for the first time or forgotten. Matt Talbot Kitchen comes to mind for a lot of people.
Yes.
The pantry and the meals. Right. Then there's the outreach part.
You got it.
Walk people through everything that goes on at Matt Talbot on a daily basis, if you could.
So I'm in my 7th year, and this is the thing that I cover the most because meals are how we started. And so that's a lot of times what people know about us. We put out over 263,000 of them last year. But there are 3 other pillars that take a lot of energy and resources and that are crucial for our guests. So things like showers and laundry. I joke that my husband's a coach and we move, and every time we move, I lose my birth certificate. So I have to contact those people in New York and pay a stupid fee and get my birth certificate. Our guests don't have that luxury. There may be credit. You don't have a credit card. You don't have access to internet. Sometimes you can't get a birth certificate because you don't have an ID, but you can't get an ID because you don't have a birth certificate. And you can't get a job or an apartment unless you have identification. Those are things that we might take for granted that we can figure out if we get in that bind. Outreach helps with that. They offer things like hygiene products, sunscreen, bug spray, blankets. We go through gobs of blankets and socks and razors and all of those things that we might take for granted. Our substance use team will do free evaluations for anybody in need. And they also run 3 transition houses and 1 alternative house off-site.
Wow.
So when people come out of treatment and they need someone to help with things like resumes and jobs and paying rent and budgeting and maintaining sobriety, we have a team of licensed drug and alcohol counselors who can do that. And there are housing programs that are different from that housing program that help people who are experiencing chronic homelessness, as well as people who are really sort of on the bubble of entering homelessness.
You talked about that a lot last year when you were on with us, and you're looking for ways to expand that as far as homelessness, and obviously whether partnering with other people to actually have places for people to go. Has that been something that's changed or expanded since last year?
Gosh, I didn't even plant this question.
We know what we're doing.
Winning.
Yeah. We're going to throw you a couple softballs.
Right. Yeah. So we're actually in a campaign this year called Hope Lives Here. And part of that campaign is for housing. The reason that we focused on this is because we have specific programs for people experiencing chronic homelessness. Sometimes what we don't have is to catch people in the middle. So, for example, if I do a housing assessment and certain factors in my particular case might put me really low on the list. But Matt Talbot, we might say, hey, we work with Lori. We know that if we can do a first and last month's rent, and get her started with that security deposit money she just doesn't have, she's employed, I think she'll be able to do it on her own. This program is directly helping that
those people.
individual.
Yeah.
And so we've kind of expanded in that way. We're still working hard for those people who are the most vulnerable, who are experiencing chronic homelessness, and for those people around the bubble. That hasn't changed.
Right.
But we're working on how we can catch that middle group.
That's big because I mean, obviously, you want to make sure that you don't want to turn anybody away, and that you want to. One of the things I think that you guys do a really good job is welcoming all people when they come and make it to less stressful. Because I think you told a story. I'm not sure if you did, where somebody was walked kind of up to the door and didn't come in the first time, then took a couple other times before they finally came in. You guys try to eliminate the anxiety.
Yeah, everyone's story is different.
Yeah.
And so I think sometimes when you're not as familiar with our guests or who we serve, it's easy to have misconceptions about what those stories look like. But we have people all the time who never envisioned needing our services. And we talk about this a lot because we all know people who are not very far away from needing a little assistance. And there's nothing wrong with that. We do our best to make everyone feel welcome, to make them feel like this is a place that you can come whether you need us or not. And we have some people, there's particularly some older people who don't actually need us from a monetary standpoint, but we're the community they've got. And they're just as welcome, and we love to see them.
What are some of those common misconceptions that people might have?
I hope my mom's not listening. I love to tease my mom. She's just such an easy target. She's a feisty,
love you, Mom, but
she's a feisty Jewish girl from Brooklyn. I grew up a lot in the city, growing to the city where she was. And we'd see a lot of homeless people. And I can't believe I just said that. People experiencing homelessness. That's a big one.
We heard what you meant.
Yeah, right. Good thing I called attention to it, right?
Yes.
Anyway, so she would say to me, I remember having this conversation. She'd say, okay, Lori, can you explain though? Because that individual looks like they might be capable. Can you talk to me about why they're not working? And I'm like, okay, Nadine, let's do this. That person may have experienced some terrible trauma as a child and may not have been in an environment where they could get the help that they needed. So then they're working on how do they feel better? They decide to self-medicate. So then they've got trauma and a substance use issue, which lots of times can lead to a criminal record, problems with the law. Then they've got trauma, substance use issues, trouble with the law. That might lead to things like depression, being upset. Then you have this huge ball to unravel. And you want that person to walk across the street and get a minimum wage job, which isn't going to get them out of the hole they're in or get them into an apartment. And we wonder why that's not happening. And she was like, all right. That's just an example. And so when you ask about misconceptions, there's all sorts of reasons that somebody's in the situation that they're in that don't always mean they made terrible life decisions. And even for people who have made poor decisions in their lives, who hasn't made a decision that they wish they could take back? That person is still deserving of compassion.
You mentioned that word compassion. Talk about the staff in Matt Talbot, the compassion they put on display every day, what it means to you to see that from your role.
Every day. And I learn from our staff every day. There are so many times where someone will come in and we have rules in place for a reason, right? There are rules for a reason. And our director of housing and outreach is a great example. Her name's Leanne. And she will say, okay, and this is a specific case. Let's come over here and let's talk about your case. Let's sit down. Let's talk about that. And she will send out an email or she will let everyone know and say, hey, we're going to do something a little bit different. This case is a little bit different. It's getting to know each person's situation. You are not a number. You are a human being with a story. And there are specific things about you that led you to us.
You mentioned your staff and you learn a lot from them every day. But I think, you're very, very humble, but you do a great job. Tell everybody what drew you to Matt Talbot. Obviously, your husband's a coach, so obviously sometimes you have to move along with that. But I think you've obviously invested and you're fully into Matt Talbot. So talk about your experience from year 1 to obviously year 7.
So my entire career prior to being at Matt Talbot was in higher education. I worked in fundraising, but it was in higher education. I believe in education very much. which is why people who know me would joke that I'm never going to stop doing it. Just graduated again.
Nice.
But so I talked about my mom a little bit. Those images were ingrained in my head as a kid, and we would walk past them like they weren't even there. And it's not because people were cruel. It's because they didn't know what to do. They were desensitized. So this position actually came to me. Someone said, hey, there's this position open. It's a really well-known nonprofit doing really good work. You should look into it. And I said, here's a time to put my money where my mouth is. I work really hard. I believe in what they're doing. I might be able to make a difference there.
And that's it. So in 7 years, it just went by that quick.
It really, man, it really did. And I'll say COVID was huge and for everybody, right? In so many ways. I was hired to do fundraising. But when COVID hits and we can't have hunger relief teams come in who are cooking that food for 200 people, all of a sudden we're doing that. We're doing direct outreach with our guests. That was the impetus for me to go back to school and say, hey, I want to learn more about this. How can we help neighbors in need? What does go into this? What as a community does it take? What are the systems we need to dismantle? Because all of that's part of it. How do we come together like the Lincoln Community Foundation? That's what they're doing with this event, why I'm here. They are really helping us promote what we're doing every day so that people like you are talking with me about it.
I always tell people is like when you are able to go and see nonprofits, and it kind of can really change your perspective of it and see the work that they do day in and day out. But just the experience, I'd never been to Matt Talbot until last year and heard about it, but I just didn't know where it was at. So I always, you can comment on this. I always encourage people, if you're driving by, it's just right, on 27th there, to go in and check it out. I mean, I was amazed how great it was great, obviously going in there and that actually, is really, really a breath of fresh air just because the work you're doing and where you're located and the people that you can serve. I always encourage people to go and check you guys out because you guys do such a great job.
I appreciate that. And as you know, I'm not afraid to bug all of you. Like, hey, come in, serve a meal, come do a tour with me. The reason I love doing that with people is because it does change your perception of who we are and what we do. It's not a solemn, dark, dirty place. We laugh, we joke, we have fun. It's clean, it's bright, it's welcoming. I like people to see that. I like them to say, hey, this is a place that maybe I could come volunteer, or maybe I could come donate some food or do a food drive here. I'd bring my kids here. I want people to see that.
Obviously, tomorrow, Give to Lincoln Day. Officially, givetolincoln.com. Search for Matt Talbot in the little search bar there. Site's been open all month, though. Have you seen some early donations start to trickle in?
Yes, and I think it's really important to express how grateful that we are as an organization on behalf of our guests. It makes such a difference to us. This is the biggest fundraiser we do all year. It keeps those 4 pillars going all year. It's that important to us. I'm incredibly grateful for the people who have already made a gift, and I'd encourage anybody who's on the bubble. There's hundreds of nonprofits out there for whom this event and tomorrow really matters. So thank you. If you haven't made a gift yet, I encourage you to think about it. You can also go to mtko.org, check out our site, and click our donate button. It'll take you right to our page in the Lincoln Community Foundation page.
I am on your website right now. I click donate and bang, you're right there.
I was like, man, I really hope that works.
not checking your work. I'm taking your word for it.
You make me spell Schenectady now too.
I missed it by a letter last year, so we need the expert to end up doing it. You touched on it a little bit. Could you go a little bit more in depth, though, for just what Give to Lincoln Day means? I guess from the community aspect of it, what does it mean to you in your role, Director of Development, to see the community of Lincoln rally around all these nonprofits, but especially for you at Matt Talbot?
It's incredible. It's amazing. We actually do a picnic now, so you'll be here. You'll be there for that tomorrow, and we encourage the community come in during this time, eat a burger with us, come check out the difference that you make. I think it's great when people can come see us in action and sit down with our guests, talk to people, see what it's about. I love that for this event. Also, Tower Square is a great example of the kind of warm fuzzies that it gives you. I was just talking to DP about how it is stressful in so much as we count on it. We count on it to keep our organization going. But when you get downtown and Tower Square and you see everybody buzzing and the community's walking through and everyone's stopping, there's such a feeling of gratitude that we live in a place like Lincoln where there is such a generous community willing to help their neighbors in need. It really does create a warm fuzzy.
For our people that don't know, And we do have a lot of listeners, especially on Give to Lincoln Day, that do stop by and try to donate in person. So will you please please tell everybody what your guys' physical address is? Because we know where it's good, where your physical address is, so they possibly can stop by tomorrow.
Absolutely. I'm going to tell you a funny story about this in a minute. But 2121 North 27th Street is where you can go. The people at the front desk, so right through our main doors on the west side of our building, they're ready. They're ready to greet you. They're ready to say hello, show you around. I'm kind of giggling because when I first started at Matt Talbot, there was a snafu in the schedule, and I'd only been there like a week, and I needed to go on live TV. And someone asked me what our address was, and I said, I can tell you what to bring. A little fuzzy on the address.
Yeah.
I had to put it down below. So I'm laughing. Now
they had Google back then. So everybody had cell phones back then. They could find it.
I was like, nobody heard it. Nobody was watching anyway. By the time I get back to my car, everyone's like, how do you not know where you work? I'm like,
I just drive there.
I'm like, oh. So 2121 North 27th. I have grown. I can learn.
Right.
Come see us.
We'll read this from Gino on our Starter Heyman Jewelers text line. Gino says, as a lifelong public servant who's dedicated my life to assisting those with behavioral health issues, experiencing homelessness, battling through addiction and other human issues. Thank you, Matt Talbot, for what you do, as well as many other entities in Lincoln who provide the outreach and services to those who need them most. You are very valued and cherished immensely. That's from Gino.
Gino, thank you so much. What a beautiful thing to say. Really appreciate it.
All right, one last time. GiveToLincoln.com. Search Matt Talbot, or your website again is
mtko.org. Click that donate button. It'll take you right there.
There you go. Lori Wellman, Director of Development for Matt Talbot, with us here today on Old School. And again tomorrow. Back for more?
Yes.
We'll be out there, 2121 North 27th Street.
You got it.
There we go. 1 for 1. Join us out there. It'll be Bach in the black shirt, and then 4 hours of Old School with you from Matt Talbot. Lori, great to see you. We'll do it again tomorrow.
Good to see you guys. Thank you so much.
GiveToLincoln.com. Search Matt Talbot. We'll be back with more of Old School next.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. 1221 N Street, Lincoln.
Tomorrow is about the lessons we learned today. A farmer's market teaches us that community is grown together. Kids laughing shows us how joy is easy. And coffee on the porch reminds us to savor every moment. These are the lessons that shape a tomorrow we all share. One filled with trust, good company, and wide open dreams. That's the way banking should be. And that's Pinnacle Bank. Member FDIC.
Well, I'm an interior designer. A lot of builders don't have designers on staff. I'm included with our Aspen package and can make your home more custom to your taste, your needs, and your wants.
Rachel's our interior designer at Aspen Builders. She's one of the reasons that makes us really good at what we do. I'm Bob Benish, and we absolutely love how Rachel takes care of our clients.
I think the biggest challenge with building is a lot of clients are worried about all the choices. When they come in, they kind of have a deer in the headlights look. I like to ask people at the end, so what did you think? And usually they pause and they say, you really broke it up, kept it simple. We just did one meeting at a time, so I wasn't looking at all the decisions I had to make. I had plenty of time to decide things. You walked me through it all. It made it simple.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting. at Aspen Builders.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Play ball! Some places just feel like home. In Lincoln, that place is Haymarket Park. For 25 seasons, it's where we gather with friends, with family, and our out-of-towners who want that same warm welcome. It's where kids catch their first foul ball, where we're all neighbors for at least 9 innings. Because when Salt Dogs fans root for our home team, there isn't a single stranger in the stands. So come one, come all, and let your local tradition play on. Get your tickets at saltdogs.com.
Lincoln is full of great golf courses in a state that is getting national recognition for exceptional golf. Friend Country Club is worth the drive, just 40 minutes from Lincoln and home to one of the state's most respected 9-hole courses. Enjoy their restaurant with popular items like a 14-ounce ribeye, 10-ounce sirloin, or chicken fried steak. Open Thursday through Saturday from 5:30 to 10 p.m. Expand your horizons with a trip to Friend Country Club, just 40 minutes southwest of Lincoln. It's worth a visit.
Is your air conditioner ready for the hot weather ahead? Get it checked now before you really need it. Call Bryant now to schedule your spring air conditioning service check. No matter what brand equipment you have, Bryant's trained technicians will thoroughly clean, inspect, and test to make sure it's ready to cool efficiently when hot weather hits. Stay cool and comfortable with air conditioning services from Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111 to schedule your AC check. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
The end of the school year is drawing near, which means graduation parties are coming soon. Are you prepared for hosting? Führer's Cheese Spread is the dip that brings everyone together to celebrate graduations and the close to a great school year. And it goes well with crackers, meats, soups, and more. How could you consider throwing a party without it? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's Cheese Spread. No graduation party is complete without it.
At Cedars, we're here to make sure that kids have the safety and stability that every child deserves, where they're protected and where they feel safe. You make this possible. Today, more than ever, we need your support to be here for kids who have nowhere else to call home. Now through May 28th, make a big impact through Give to Lincoln. Give to Cedars now at givetolincoln.com.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, once again, we're back. Old School. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman. Once again, it's Give to Lincoln Day. Tomorrow we will be over at Matt Talbot. We'll be at Cedars in the morning, and then Matt Talbot from 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock. But one of my favorite times coming in, or every month or two, is we have somebody in from AMI. It's either Dr. Razin or Dr. Finn. Dr. Finn is back. Welcome back.
Thank you, sir.
How you been?
I'm good. You know, it was about 2 years ago when I was here for the first time, and I was able to tell you about a new treatment for Alzheimer's disease.
Yeah.
And at that time, it was just approved by the FDA.
Right.
And AMI was just beginning a diagnostic test to help diagnose it with a PET scan of the brain. Since that time, it's been a greater success than I thought it would be.
Right.
Now that we're 2 years in, we're seeing the first follow-up patients of those who started getting treatment 2 years ago, and they're getting their first repeat PET scan of the brain, which is actually showing a decrease in the beta amyloid plaque that is one of the causes of Alzheimer's. And we can see that on the PET scans that we do. So we've probably had 10 patients come back for their first repeat scan, because those first patients are just now coming through to round 2, every single one of them has shown a reduction in the beta amyloid plaque that we look for on these PET scans. It's remarkable.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, obviously being in football, obviously having, obviously you have some, brain trauma. I always wanted to ask, just because people, when you just say Alzheimer's, they think like you're 90 years old, right? Generally, right? And I mean, talk about early onset Alzheimer's, because I think obviously with a lot of former players, you hear about that, for us, and obviously you hear it in everybody else. Talk about the early stages, early onset of Alzheimer's that maybe family members can maybe detect in somebody that's maybe, obviously maybe had some head trauma or something like that. And then the process of, maybe going to seeing their general doctor, and then obviously to you guys, just walk people through the signs, but then also the process of helping somebody, because sometimes obviously I'm sure they don't really know that they might have some early signs of Alzheimer's or full on Alzheimer's.
So one distinction is you talked about the athletic component. High impact head trauma is not necessarily associated with Alzheimer's.
Right.
That's more like Parkinson's. Think about
Yeah.
Muhammad
And so
Ali.
before that, okay, what's the difference of the two? Because here I am, I don't know any difference. I'm just going off what I thought I knew.
The high level difference is that Parkinson's is more of a movement disorder with some late stage cognitive effects. Alzheimer's is more of a cognitive disorder, with less movement problems. So with Alzheimer's, you said, you might think you're 90 years old. Most patients that have Alzheimer's disease are, 80 plus years old.
Okay.
The first signs and symptoms, and the difficulty with diagnosing it is that it's very slow onset. What we call insidious onset. So it takes years, even decades, to progress. So it goes from, being slightly forgetful at times to at the end, it's not remembering who's in the room with you. And the goal here is to try and diagnose it earlier. Before this test that we do at AMI, it was only a clinical diagnosis, meaning you went to your doctor, you did some memory tests. A lot of it was questions and answers. And then once it became past that threshold where it was obvious, that's when you could confidently make the diagnosis. Now that we have this PET scan of the brain, it looks for the protein buildup. And when that crosses a numerical threshold, we can say that it's confidently positive. And if it's negative, then we can say, hey, you might have another reason for your cognitive decline, and then treat that. So it's very helpful.
Jay, if I can jump in here, Dr. Finn, I don't know if cool is the right word, but I think that's the word that comes to mind. Obviously, there's been a lot of money resource poured into Alzheimer's research. One of those kind of big, kind of diseases like, oh, this is a big one. We got a lot of work to do to get there. When you see this PET scan come out, you identified kind of the root cause. You can see it. You can help people early. What does that make you feel? How neat is it to see this new, form of testing come out that what you're looking for, to where you're able to maybe help some people sooner than later?
It's phenomenal. And work can always become routine. And when you know that you're helping not just a patient, but the patient's family, it multiplies. So from a selfish perspective, I do get gratification out of that. And from a nerdy science perspective, I get gratification because it is so neat. I could go on for hours on just this PET scan. And the reason why it's neat is it was in research form for a long time. And then once this treatment came out that I told you about a couple of years ago, then the FDA approved it for clinical use because it actually had a purpose now. Because before you could do this research and say, hey, we think you have Alzheimer's disease. There's nothing you can do about it. But then when this treatment came out, it's like, yes, now you should get this scan if you have that question. And that way you can jump the gun. And once you start, the earlier you start treating this, once you get a confident diagnosis, you delay the onset of these symptoms. And most people that get Alzheimer's dementia are 80 plus. And so if you have a disease that takes 10 years to progress, and you can push that back by a number of years, those are really important years.
with grandkids, with kids, and traveling, and
Absolutely.
all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
And with Alzheimer's, I wanted to ask: is it something that is it hereditary, or is it just kind of just
It's one of those things. It's multifactorial.
right?
It is hereditary. There's a genetic component. You can get a genetic test. I believe it's a ApoE allele. Anyway, if you search it out, you can find it. You can find your risk factors. I've had the test myself. And then there are other factors that we don't know of yet. It's one of those. It's kind of like diabetes. There are multiple facets to heart disease, multiple facets to its cause. But this buildup of the protein, beta amyloid plaque, is one of the causes which we can now treat.
What's great about AMI? I mean, you guys are at the forefront of breast cancer awareness. Now you're in the forefront of Alzheimer's. You guys are always, and I know both you and Dr. Resident personally. You guys are part of my team and extremely invested into your patients. Talk about, I guess I wouldn't say the reason, because I think the reason because you guys are great people, but just talk about your process of when you guys come together as a leadership group, or obviously as a company at AMI, that you're like, hey, this is something that we want to do because we are invested in it for the betterment of our patients and their families. I think that's it's a breath of fresh air that people are, hey, we're serving the people. A lot of people say it. You guys are actually doing it.
I was approached by a neurologist in town who was curious about this PET scan. He said, hey, can you guys do this? And I said, I've heard of it, but we haven't had anybody ask for it. He was the first person to ask. And so I did the research with my team, and we found out, and we implemented the program. And to your point, I remember we had a meeting, all of us physicians at AMI. And I remember what I said. I said, Lincoln just got an upgrade. And I put a picture of the PET scan up on the screen. And I went on to tell my partners, and I was teaching them about it because it was so new, and saying, we started a new program and Lincoln got an upgrade. And, it's part of the benefit of serving the community. It's the more you can do, the better, because I can't do a lot of things. I can't help you move your piano, but I can help you with a small part of your healthcare. And, if you can just do your part and do it well, that's success in my mind.
What does it mean to you and your team at AMI to be on kind of the cutting edge of some of this stuff? How much pride do you take in being there on the forefront? Now that you can implement stuff willy-nilly, obviously FDA and whatnot, but what sense of pride do you have in AMI being kind of at the cutting edge of some of this stuff for Lincoln?
I don't know if it's pride, but it sure is fun. And I think it goes back to that scientific curiosity. It's just when you learn about things in school, that's kind of the routine stuff, and the things you learn on the job is you're on the forefront. It's the new research that's coming out. That's the exciting part.
Yeah, I mean, it's look. I always tell people every time I went over there, the ability of you guys to help me along the process and look out for me first versus yourself, or in connection with each other, is obviously, I think, what's allowed you guys to continue to be. That mindset has allowed you guys to kind of, I call it competitive excellence, because you guys are always trying to better yourself and better your services for your patients. And so I encourage anybody that has a family member to go over AMI. They will definitely take care of you in any form or fashion of any of your needs over there. Trust me, I know, and I stand on it. I stand on business with that. Another question I wanted to ask you in a different area, a little bit of sports related, whether people think it's NASCAR is sport or not. Obviously, Kyle Busch, 41 years old, very, very young. Just a couple weeks ago, I think you seen fans that met him. He looked healthy, great. He was at meet and greets, raced in a race, done pretty decent. And it's a little murky how he passed away. Was it pneumonia? Or talk about the process of that, how fast it can happen, and what to do if you're in that, because maybe he tried to push himself, right? And sometimes as a parent or a coach, if you're listening, or a doctor, obviously you're going to advise them, hey, slow down, this could turn into something really, really bad. And unfortunately for him, that it sounds like that's what happened.
Yeah, I don't know the details of his exact situation, but I do know that the mind can be stronger than the body,
right?
And that can get you in trouble. And they say doctors are the worst patients, and that's one of the reasons why. But yeah, pneumonia is always severe. You typically hear about pneumonia being a very serious condition in the elderly.
Mhm.
And the reason why that is, you have a speed limit on your heart, and it goes down by 1 beat per minute every year. And so the formula is 220 minus your age is your maximum heart rate. So if you're 40 years old, your maximum heart rate is 180. You put that into perspective for athletes. You got a 20-year-old kid playing against Tom Brady.
Yeah.
You got a 25 beats per minute advantage, on for the younger kid. Okay, going back to the pneumonia. If you're 90 years old, 220 minus age, your maximum heart rate is around 130 beats per minute. You and I can hit that walking across the street or up a flight of stairs. And when you're sick and you have a fever and you're dehydrated, you're going to hit that heart rate with no effort at all, just laying in bed. And that's where you get in trouble. Now, and that's why it's so surprising about Kyle Busch is him being young. We have that cardiopulmonary reserve. And so usually you can get by. But here's the problem. An infection of the lungs, there's so much surface area in the lungs because it's made to absorb oxygen and get rid of CO2. And the only reason it does the way it does that is by surface area, all the little air sacs in your lungs. So if you compare the surface area of your skin, the surface of your skin is about the size of a bathroom floor. The surface area of your lungs is about half the size of a tennis court. So a dramatic difference. So if you get an infection with that much access to your internal body and the whole thing becomes infected, it's really hard to treat. And the lungs is one of those organs where 100% of the blood flow as it circulates throughout the body goes through the lungs. The only other organ like that is the heart. So every other organ might get 30, 20% of the total blood. Every drop of blood will go through the lungs. And so if both lungs are infected, it puts you at risk for what's called sepsis, which is what he had. And that's when the infection spreads from one organ to others, and it spreads through the blood. And once that happens, it becomes really serious because you either treat it now or you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And that's sounds like that's what happened.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It was just gone way too soon. Obviously, he was a great representation for the drivers, and obviously it took people by surprise. I want to move to basketball now. And obviously the Spurs and the OKC Thunder are going at it. OKC is up, even though one other, what's called like a max player, has been in and out of the lineup with a hamstring injury. We've talked about this plenty of times. I've had hamstring injuries. I felt like when I tweaked my hamstring pretty bad, it took me a year before I felt like I was truly confident in it. Talk about the process of when you first have, let's just say, a little bit, not a mild strain, but maybe a half a step up or a step up from mild, all right? And when you think that you're coming back through, maybe you rush through rehab, and then you're in and out of the lineup because you're trying to play a game versus taking 2 games off and playing game 5, but you want to play game 1, and now you've been on the shelf. Talk about that in the healing process in a short amount of time during the playoffs versus the regular season, because it's distinctly different.
So are you saying you want to push through it more in the playoffs? Is that what you're?
Most likely, because it's win or go home versus if you're in the middle of the season and it's game 42, there's 40 more in basketball I'm talking about. Now, football's a little different, but basketball, because there's 40 more regular season games, you're in the Western Conference Finals and you're playing, every other day, and then you might have a travel day every other day on the road, and then you go home and away.
So you're talking about, can you play through the pain, and will it cause
longer damage, or you might just not be able to play at all?
The nice thing about muscle tears is muscle is very vascular and it repairs pretty well. The problem is the more you use it when it's inflamed, the worse it's going to get. And the only thing that's going to help it is time and rest. So depending on the severity, can you play through some of that? Yes. At a certain point, you're risking a greater tear. And once it tears completely, it's kind of never the same. It will heal, but it'll never be the same. So you can think of the muscle, every single muscle fiber you have is connected by a cable that goes to the bone that it attaches to.
Right.
And that's why a great example is your Achilles tendon.
Yeah.
It's a thick rope on the back of your heel. That rope is the collection of fibers that's connected to every single muscle cell in your calf. And so depending on where the tear is on that strain, the closer you get to the bone, the more concentrated all those fibers are. The farther back you are, it's just, it's more cell and less fiber cable.
Right.
So it's highly variable, but if I'm in their position, I'm going to push it. If all I got to do is a few more games, so long as you're not risking a complete tear and you know that you can get over the hump, get the ring, and get your rest and heal.
Or sometimes overcompensation, for, another injury based on trying to compensate for your injured hamstring. Real quick before we let you go, I want to ask you about Kevin Durant. Obviously, he's a great player. He's had the Achilles issue, but and when they were playing the Lakers, I always wanted to. Now I know this answer because I have ankle issues, and
do you?
Yeah, I do. And you know what? Somebody made fun of me. We won't name his name, not Austin, but it's somebody that works here made fun of me about my ankles, and he accidentally fell down and he hurt the same ankle. But I wanted to ask you about Kevin Durant and guys where he had an ankle injury, right, Austin, and against the Lakers, but he played in game 2. Game 3 was like 2 or 3 days later. He finished game 2, but then wasn't able to play games 3 and 4. Like, how does that happen? Because the average fan was like, I saw you finish the game. You walked off the court and then now 2 days later, you're not playing in the playoffs. Talk about how you can, I guess I'll call it a delayed. Would it be a delayed injury, or would it be because you're resting and then it kind of swelled up and you can't get it back going to where it's in game shape?
I wonder if they thought one thing was injured and found out that more things were.
Yeah.
So, for example, so tendons are muscle to bone, ligaments are bone to bone attachments. Right. If you have a ligamentous tear, there's less tugging on it, and it's more of so long as it's a small enough tear that it's not going to cause structural injury, and the only thing you have to deal with is pain. There are some injuries where you can play through the pain.
Right.
And I don't know the details of it, but perhaps either they thought that, or they found out that the tear or the injury was greater than they expected, thereby risking further injury.
Right.
Or the inflammation that was caused by playing through the pain went into other areas like maybe a joint effusion or tendonitis, which makes it almost impossible to play through that pain.
In that shorter time too.
Yeah. So that's my guess.
Yeah.
Is that it was probably minor enough to play through it, and then when he played through it, it aggravated something else, or something else was discovered. Is my guess.
Yeah, I mean that's it covers a lot, but it also just Kevin Durant definitely probably wanted to play, but everybody had a lot of questions, and he always brings it on himself. But I think not being able to play is probably part of his legacy right now in Houston. So I wanted to ask you about that. I want to thank you again for coming in. AMI is at the forefront of another big thing with Alzheimer's and the test. Make sure you look up AMI if you have anybody in your family or you think somebody is going down that road. Make sure you get over to AMI. They would take care of you, walk you through the process, and then obviously get you some help.
Can I give one quick shout out?
Yeah.
There's a bare knuckle fighter here in Lincoln. His name is Nate Moreau. And he's undefeated here in Lincoln on the local circuit. Just yesterday, a friend of mine, he got a call from Conor McGregor and friends.
Mm-hmm.
He's being called up to the bare knuckle UFC equivalent
for
the national circuit. And so they're going to put him on the track to a world title.
Oh, so that's awesome. Congrats. Lincoln's representing again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Another championship.
Yeah. So you got to make sure we keep an eye out on him. And then as he progresses, we'll have to have, next time you come in, we'll bring him in and we'll talk about the process of him being a world champ.
Absolutely.
I'm not fighting him, by the way.
No, he can have it. He can have it. You got another victory. You got 2 more victories if he comes in here. So he's well on his way. I want to thank you again, Dr. Finn, AMI, for coming in. We're going to take a quick break. Come right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Does someone in your household avoid phone calls because they can't hear clearly, or do they have difficulty speaking on the phone? Nebraska offers a solution. The Nebraska Specialized Telecommunications Equipment Program, or NSTEP, provides financial assistance for specialized devices like amplified phones, captioned telephones, smartphones with Bluetooth pairing to hearing aids, and speech-generating devices. If you're a Nebraska resident with a certified hearing or speech disability, you may qualify. It's not income-based, and once approved, you own the equipment. Learn more or apply at psc.nebraska.gov or call 1-800-526-0017.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Some people are looking to buy their very first home. Others are looking to build. And some are refinancing to make what they have work a little better. But the one thing they all need? A personal guide through the mortgage process. At Pinnacle Bank, our local lenders work closely with you to find the right kind of loan and the best rates possible. Because every path home deserves someone by your side. Find your lender today with Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Lincoln is full of great golf courses in a state that is getting national recognition for exceptional golf. Friend Country Club is worth the drive, just 40 minutes from Lincoln and home to one of the state's most respected 9-hole courses. Enjoy their restaurant with popular items like a 14-ounce ribeye, 10-ounce sirloin, or chicken fried steak. Open Thursday through Saturday from 5:30 to 10 p.m. Expand your horizons with a trip to Friend Country Club, just 40 minutes southwest of Lincoln. It's worth a visit.
In communities like ours, local relationships still matter. At Insight Partners, we believe we are better together. That's why insurance agencies across the Midwest have joined Insight Partners to better serve local customers and communities with all their insurance needs. From personal to commercial or specialty insurance, your local Insight Partners team is here to help protect what matters most. Insight Partners, better together. Learn more at myinspartners.com.
Imagine if the people who work at your bank were neighbors who could help with a home loan.
Congratulations, you're approved.
Or friends who love to shop local.
Have a good one.
At UBT, who you work with matters just as much as what you're working toward.
Hey, thanks for helping.
That's why your money has more than a banker. It has people. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
3, 2, 1. The drop is live. Screens freeze everywhere, except yours. You've been training for this moment. And with Allo Fiber's zero-lag precision, you strike first. No lag, no limits, just speed. Can your internet provider do that? Stay ahead of every drop. Visit allofiber.com/all-in.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Well, we're back. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman. Quick segment here before we turn it over to
New show.
A
market hour.
And it's the Showtime in Apollo.
Not
one, but two. The Worley.
The one and only Worthy Brothers. The two and only?
No.
Say the one and only, but I guess it's the two and only.
The two and only. I said not one, but two.
One set of brothers.
Yeah,
two
one
of them.
set of brothers. They're about to represent. Come this weekend. It'll be exciting to listen to what they have to say. Obviously, they're Lincoln East high grads. Obviously, so it's good local talent. That lets you know there is a lot of local talent that can play at the Power 4 level. Both of them are great kids, great families. So it'd be great to keep listening to them. We want to thank Matt Talbot for coming over and representing, and obviously we want to thank Dr. Finn from AMI, Alzheimer's research relief. Go over there and check them out. They're at the forefront. We've seen when we went over there for the breast cancer awareness walk. I was just in there like a week or two ago getting my neck looked at. Listen, they're the best in the business. I'm part of my team. They're stuck with me from here on out, but so are you guys. And for my man, Austin J. Foreman, we're Old School. We'll holler at you tomorrow. We'll be there from 1 to 7 at Matt Talbot, 2121 North 27th Street. See there?
It's not that hard, Lori.
Yeah,
we can do it.
Right. She's going to bang us up about that tomorrow. Anyways, we'll holler at you tomorrow. Stop by, give the Lincoln Day. Really show all the nonprofits a lot of support. We're supporting too tomorrow, but there's plenty of them out there, so support them all.
Lincoln is full of great golf courses in a state that is getting national recognition for exceptional golf. Friend Country Club is worth the drive, just 40 minutes from Lincoln